but that rotation could rapidly drop down to the ground, causing a tornado. You can see some of the motion in the clouds as well. Looks like Michael Craddock will be repositioning here shortly, but it looks like he might have maintained his position just a little bit longer. Now, all of this blue that you see, this is some really heavy rain, and that heavy rain could surge out and actually cause what we call rain-wrapped tornadoes, where they just get wrapped in rain and they become basically invisible. In fact, Josh, on Weather One, just in the meantime, just to educate people, because here's the deal. We've got a lot of people that are out of town and out of our country that are right now in Northwest Arkansas because of the Walmart shareholders meeting. So there might be people watching on TV and going, I'm not used to this type of stuff. What's going on? We do have the tornado acronym, DUCK, yes, which is what we want to tell you about. This is what you need to know with tornado safety. And so downstairs, under something, center of house, keep away from windows. This is what we tell kids. We always have them memorize that acronym. It's an easy way to remember tornado safety. You want to get as low as you possibly can. Underground is best if you have an underground shelter. Under something, underneath pillows, blankets, a mattress, a helmet. I know a lot of kids wear their helmets just to protect their head from flying debris. Adults need to do it as well. It's a great idea. If you have a motorcycle helmet or a bike helmet, put that on. Center of the house, keep away from windows. And for some of those that live in a mobile home, we talked about this earlier with that Gravit tornado, the Grove tornado. There were some mobile homes that were damaged, and they can definitely get damaged in the weakest tornadoes, and sometimes even the straight line winds associated with this storm. So we'll continue to monitor, watch all this. And then also, too, we have that rain wrap graphic. You might have to dig that out of the archive. But if you type in rain wrap tornado, Josh, we'll be able to show that. In the meantime, let's go to Weather 2, and we'll go back to a detailed look at this as it's approaching southwestern Benton County. Here is that circulation associated with the tornado warning that goes until 7 a.m. Most likely, I think this will be extended. I don't see anything that's going to cause this storm to weaken. I mean, it might weaken and cycle at times, but this is the way this storm is going to look. And by the way, we've got several of our WeatherBug network cameras that are going to be watching this. So we got new severe thunderstorm warning. This is the lowered cloud base right here. You can see a little bit of enhanced lowering. So Michael, got a new severe thunderstorm warning. Looks like it's a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. We'll take a look at that. You can hear the weather radios going off. You know, there's nothing better than the old trusty weather radio. But Michael, go ahead and tell us what you're seeing right now as you're repositioned.
Well, I'm driving back into Salem right now. I'm actually at the casino. I'm about ready to turn back around and look.
Okay.
And the sirens are going off in Salem Springs right now.
Okay, that's good information. Thank you so much. You can kind of see just a little bit of those ragged lowerings right there. Maybe something that's trying to develop. Also, there could be scud clouds, which stands for scattered cumulus under deck. But that does almost look like a little bit of a funnel starting to try to appear. Yeah, that does. And we got all these cameras recording for that reason. Yeah, that's an enhanced lowering right there. Josh is zooming in on that. All right, well, we're continuing to watch this. So going back to the radar, let's let people know exactly where this is headed. Looks like we got a weather call alert coming in. So that's me. That's basically what they're saying. That's me calling myself. How about that? Telling me about the severe thunderstorm warning. So we do want to let people know where that is, but want to stay focused on this because that's something to watch right there. Let's zoom out a little bit just because there could be other circulations that kind of pop up. And so we're going to zoom out on that Allen Elementary WeatherBug Network camera. But that is definitely the lowering associated with that. All right, let's give people a view of the radar. We're going to go back to Mega Doppler. And on Mega Doppler, on Weather 1. So there's the circulation. There's the severe thunderstorm warning. This probably has tornado possible. And you can hear the sirens going off with Michael Craddock in the Salem Springs area. And also have Peyton Langford. He's still out there, even though, he's going to be leaving, going to Houston. And we wish him the best. But, you can't take the weather out of the weatherman. There's the circulation right there that's moving towards the south side of Siloam. That's what we were watching on our Allen Elementary WeatherBug Network camera. Let's start putting some roads on there. You see 412. You can see this is going to be on the south side of Siloam Springs. So Carl Street, one of those streets that you want to be watching very closely. This is going to be a very similar path to the October 21st, 2019 tornadoes that came through. And remember, we just have radar indicated, nothing on the ground confirmed yet, but that could happen and that could change very, very rapidly. Okay, we've got to move the camera south, Allen Elementary, Josh, if you can, real quick.
Get that done.
Let's just change that and shift that south because we're going to be we're looking northwest at that point, and the lowering and the cloud associated with it. Let's go back to weather 2. Take a look at a camera view here. That's the lowering, and then now you're seeing the contrast starting to drop off. So, Michael, did you reposition yet?
I did, but I can't see anything.
Yeah, and this is what's happening. We're having rain-wrapped tornadoes. Josh, let's take them through the graphic real quick. I know you might have that loaded or have gotten that loaded.
Yep.
Let's go to weather 1 and show you how rain-wrapped tornadoes work. So if we have a tornado that touches down, it would be associated with a lowering like this. Well, when that rear flank downdraft, basically a surge of winds comes in, you can see how that makes that tornado almost invisible. But what you're looking for are rotating rain curtains. So those rotating rain curtains are a sign that the tornado has touched down. And that's why those rain-wrapped tornadoes are so dangerous and tough to see. And that's the type of thing that we're dealing with right now is that. Okay, let's do a track. We haven't done that in a little while. And also, too, I want to do a reset, and we want to zoom out on the widest view because there are other thunderstorms that are going to be approaching the Northwest Arkansas area. And we even have more tornado warnings that are going to be approaching LaFleur County. We can see that activity as well. Let's go, if we can, to weather 2. There's weather 2. So this is LaFleur County. We have multiple tornado warnings outside of our weather coverage area. But nevertheless, all of these storms along the line will have little circulations that we have to watch. But this is the storm that's coming in and going to be impacting Northwest Arkansas. So I just wanted to provide a wide view. Everybody will be impacted from thunderstorms. When you get farther southwest of Eufaula and McAllister, this is what we call cold pool dominant. This is where the storms are a lot weaker. You can see they're not solid red. So the tornado potential will go just about to the south of Eufaula and north of the line all the way into southwest Missouri. Other than that, though, we aren't looking at anything else that's going to be moving in throughout the morning. But this is going to be a pretty nasty line of storms, Josh.
Absolutely. And we got a fresh storm track as well on weather 1, Dan.
Yeah.
So let's go back to weather 1 here real quick.
And
let's
while we're
take a look
doing
at
that, real quick, I'll let you do that track, but I want to let people know in the control room, if you could bring up iDrive Arkansas cameras, especially at Cherokee Casino at 412, that'll let people know what you can experience when you're driving to
Illinois River.
your commute.
Illinois River's a good one too.
All right.
That one's just east of Siloam Springs. So here's a look at that latest storm track right there. Again, this area of rotation right on top of Siloam Springs. So if you're in Siloam Springs, you already need to be in your tornado safe place right now. If we go a little bit farther to the east here, you can see Cecil Smith Field at 6:55 a.m. So within the next 4 to 5 minutes, if you live near that area, you need to be taking your tornado precautions right now. Tontitown at 7:16 a.m. So now we're starting to get a little bit farther east along Highway 412 right now, Dan. So Tontitown, you need to be watching the storm very closely. Randall Tyson Recreation Complex at 7:21 a.m. and a little bit farther east of I-49 near the Springdale area at 7:24 a.m. So that's within the next 20 to 30 minutes. So if you're in Springdale, you live near Tontitown, you need to be watching the storm very closely as it tracks right along southern Benton County. And one thing I have noticed, Dan, with this storm over the last maybe few scans is maybe that area of rotation surging a little bit farther to the north. That's not uncommon with these types of setups. So you've kind of seen it wobble a little bit to the north and east. So maybe it's trying to go through maybe a recycling process.
Has
right
it
now.
weakened at all? The circulation. Let's look at that. Let's go to Mega Doppler and we'll check it out. So you got an inflection point that's just north of Siloam Springs. So yeah, there still is that circulation. That looks like an older radar image.
This is the most current one we've got right now.
Make sure that how current is that?
Yeah, that's within the last minute. So
okay,
this was
all right.
a minute
Okay,
ago.
good. So circulation still just a little southwest of Siloam Springs and about to cross that state line. There you see the circulation as it moves south of Siloam Springs. You also have Charles Peak that's out there We just did a story on him not too long ago, and he's all over the place.
Absolutely.
And this thing that you're seeing right here allows us to control the cameras with this storm. So we're able to, when we bring up like our Siloam Springs WeatherBug Network camera, you can definitely see that lowering in shelf cloud. So here we go. We got a new tornado warning. This will probably be an extension of this. We're going to go ahead and bring this up and take a look at the latest tornado warning as it populates on the screen.
So go to Weather 1 here, guys.
Yeah.
We got it populated right now. Let's go to Weather 1. There it is right there.
And that is going to be for that Sequoia County storm. So a lot of activity this morning.
Yep, and that Sequoia County storm right now, Dan, that is starting to move towards McKee right now. So McKee, Salisaw, Atkins, those areas, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now. I'm actually going to go, Dan, here to Mega Doppler once again so we could take a look at that area of rotation.
Yeah.
There it is right there. Just off to the west of McKee right now, moving through Sequoia County.
Is that set to storm motion?
That is. Yes, sir.
Okay, well, that's a pretty strong circulation. So,
yes.
Yeah, that's relative velocity. Yeah, this is moving right along. Yeah, I-40. You can see that in Sequoia County. So no debris signature yet. That's a good thing, because if it was, it means the tornado's on the ground, and it's been on the ground for a while, because that beam height has got to be pretty up there. I want to go ahead and let's look at that circulation from SRX. So let's do this from SRX is the radar that's in Barling, just a little southeast of Fort Smith near Fort Chaffee. So this is the circulation from Tulsa, which is a little bit higher. Let's go ahead and go to Weather 2, and we're going to look at all three of these tornado warnings that are currently very close to us. We have a tornado warning that just hasn't quite crossed the southwest Benton County area. I know people are watching the stream. They're wanting to know about Siloam Springs. We're monitoring that. We do have this storm that's tornado warned in the River Valley. All of this along the line, I don't see anything really ramping up to tornado potential with that, but that could change if that surges out and becomes more north to south oriented. But I want to zoom in on that circulation that's just to the west of Vian. And there you go. Now you see the circulation from SRX, and that's pretty impressive. So you've got rain that's moving away from the radar, rain that's moving towards the radar. In fact, you can see it up at the top of the screen. Outbound, rain that's moving that way. And the inbound, these blue colors, that's over 58 miles per hour. So that shows you where that circulation is located as it approaches Vian. Vian, you need to be taking your tornado precautions and get to your safe place. When we mention that, we've got this acronym DUCK. So if we go to Mega Doppler, you can see that right there. Tornado warning. This is a radar indicated tornado. That's the circulation. Looks like you have changed the radar location, Josh. So downstairs, under something, center of your building, and keep away from windows. Let's do a track on this cell on Weather 1. At the same time, what we're going to do is I'm going to be watching, and I'm going to track the northern cell, and we're going to look at that. And I want to look at the radar from INX. So obviously I have to look down at my iPad in order to control everything, to bring everything up. But Josh, let me know when you have the track of the cell. It's in Sequoia County. This circulation is kind of weakened a little bit. We'll go back in time, and I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. So there's the circulation that was before. We probably lost Michael Craddock because the storm has moved overhead. Now that circulation is east of Siloam Springs. So basically right over Siloam Springs Airport and moving eastward. And if we go to our WeatherBug Network camera from Siloam Springs, that's some heavy rain coming down. All right, Michael, how strong were the winds when that cell came in the area? Nope, maybe not. He's off. Yeah, that's okay. That happened. So he just hung up the phone right before we got to him, because he knows that chase is basically over now. Spotting cells, all the rain is coming down and the winds are happening. New severe thunderstorm warning. That's for southwest Missouri. Yep. Josh, go ahead.
And a warning that is in Sequoia County is confirmed.
Okay.
We have a confirmed tornado on the ground.
Okay.
We could show that on Weather 1 here. I want to show you guys what I mean. You see that black box right there?
Yep.
That is an observed tornado on the ground right now near Vian. So we've got the storm track right here, Dan. If you live in Vian, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now. There is a tornado on the ground That is confirmed by the National Weather Service office in Tulsa. Sallisaw at 7:09 a.m. You need to be in your tornado safe place right now. Atkins at 7:16, 7:20 in Blackjack, 7:26 in Remy, and 7:28 in Roland. But again, Dan, we have a confirmed tornado on the ground right now.
And this is moving a little more east-southeast. That's going right towards close to the Fort Smith Van Buren area. Now, by the way, we do have a camera that's going to be very, very helpful in that location. It's our WeatherBug Network camera with Kisser FM, and this just has an incredible view. Now, I think this camera is pointed southwest. Is that correct, Josh?
It's pointing due west.
Oh, due west.
Due
okay,
west, yes.
Let's take it and let's point it a little bit southwest. We'll keep it west.
We'll keep it west. Okay, we'll keep it there.
On weather 2, obviously you're not going to see anything because it's way too far away. But when it does start moving into the river valley, this will give us a really good visual as we're trying to spot this cell. So, all right, back to Mega Doppler. You got a lot of cells. There's the tornado debris signature too. It's showing up. So as we mentioned, there's the debris that's crossing I-40 right now. And there's the debris that's detected. So we do have a confirmation. Like you said, it was already confirmed, and the debris signature is showing up. So the radar knows that all of these objects in the sky are not the same width and height because of dual polarization. So it sends a beam out in the vertical, sends a beam out in the horizontal. And when that comes back to the radar, and there's all different sizes and shapes in a very small area, it's like, this is looking interesting. And then the radar knows that's debris. So let's look at some iDrive cameras from I-40, and we can bring that up in the control room. Right now, that's Siloam Springs, but we'll look at that here in just a bit. Sallisaw, you need to be in your tornado safe place. That's debris that's detected by the radar. And the beam height is what? Probably around 1,500?
2,392 feet.
Okay, a little bit higher.
A little bit higher.
Yeah.
But, man, it's been on the ground for 2 scans. You can see it right there, southwest of Vian, and it's still tracking right along Interstate 40. So, like you just mentioned, Dan, if you live near McKee Road, Cherokee Avenue, North Wheeler Avenue, Interstate 40, and just off to the west of Sallisaw, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now. There is a tornado on the ground.
I just wanted to see if we had any spotters in the river valley. We got Hayes Nelson, but don't see him out right now. So our greatest view is going to be those cameras, iDrive cameras, just to see what's happening, as well as our Kisser WeatherBug Network camera and Fort Smith Public Library, as well as Miss Laura's as it crosses the Arkansas River, Miss Laura's historic site.
And we just got a new scan on there on this storm, Dan. This tornado is still on the ground right now, and it's heading right towards McKee.
Okay,
let's go to Weather 1.
Weather 1 for Mega Doppler.
Look at that right there. That's the new scan. It's going right towards downtown McKee. So you need to be in your tornado safe place right now, right along McKee Road, just north of Interstate 40, Dan. It's moving due east at about 50 miles per hour.
And that's going to be impacting Sallisaw if that stays on the ground. So we're looking at Sallisaw that could have tornado potential here very soon. Let's do a track on that.
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and on Weather 2, we'll do a track. What's the speed of this? Sometimes these cells are moving a little quicker, a little slower.
This is 50.
I'm thinking 50.
Yep.
Okay.
This is 50 miles per hour. So I'm going to make a new track on this
Let's
real quick.
do that.
Yep. And looking at the latest scans, Dan, it looks like it's moving almost due east.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make that right now on Weather 1.
All right. I'm doing it on Weather 2 as well with the more kind of localized, specific tornado track. Maple 722. Remy, like you said, 729. Sallisaw, though, 710. You got 10 minutes. You got 9 minutes to get to your safe place in Sequoia County, also along I-40. What's the information coming out on NWS chat? Let's see if we have.
We'll look at that right now.
Yeah, see if we have anything like that
Let's get that pulled up.
in terms of information that's coming. I'm going to bring it up on this workstation computer.
Yep, getting that pulled up right now. I'm looking at the comments too on Facebook right now. A lot of folks asking about Northwest Arkansas. I'm keeping an eye on that storm. I promise I am, but I think
the rotation has weakened.
It's weakened considerably.
Still going to bring a lot of heavy rain.
Yes,
and we get that. So I understand that people are concerned, but we have a confirmed tornado that's doing damage. This is the most serious storm.
Yep, and it's in Sequoia County right now, just off to the northwest of Sallisaw.
Yeah.
So again, if you live in those areas, you need to be taking your tornado precautions right now. Let's go back to weather 1 here. Let's go to High Heating Cooling Mega Doppler. Take a look at that storm again. This is right on top of McKee right now. So if we go back here to our tornado detector product, the good news is that maybe it's starting to drop off just a little bit, but you can still see that area of rotation right there, just off to the west of McKee. Again, this product that we're looking at right here is looking at the different sizes of some of the materials that may be getting caught by that radar beam. So if you see these purple areas right here, that means everything is very uniform. That means it's more than likely rain. But this area right here near McKee, the reason why you're seeing different colors is because there's likely debris that's getting lofted. So think maybe trees or pieces of roofs. The radar's picking up on that, and that's why it's indicating that correlation coefficient drop or where that tornado is. So that's why we have that confirmed tornado from radar. You can see that there on correlation coefficient. It looks like it's still on the ground right now, Dan, as it tracks through McKee. It's moving right over downtown McKee right now, racing towards Salisal.
So let me do this while you're watching that and you're focused on that. We just did a track. Let's go to weather 2. Excuse me. That circulation is definitely strong. I want to zoom in here in Benton County and Washington County because I know people are concerned. Obviously, they're hearing sirens that were going off earlier. So Bella Vista, you're just getting some strong winds. Now, winds could still be strong enough to knock some trees down. So be aware of that. This is actually not officially severe thunderstorm warned for this part of the line. There's a little bit of a gap. And nevertheless, you're still going to get some heavy rain. And this is coming down right during the morning commute. Here we are at 7:04. And we're getting close to, the Walmart shareholders meeting. We saw the live report that was out there from Ashland. She was in front of Bud Walton Arena. A lot of people outdoors. Got a severe thunderstorm warning. It goes until 7:30. This has 70 miles per hour winds possible, along with a tornado possible. So that's that circulation that could ramp up. And believe me, we're watching it. We're checking it out. But I just wanted to give you the latest information on that. We'll continue to work our way south along the line. So get ready, Fayetteville, Springdale, Farmington, Greenland, Prairie Grove, Lincoln. You're about to experience a storm. Most dangerous portion of the storm is right here at the apex of the bow. You can see the inflection point just a little south of XNA. That's where that wind is starting to wrap into that area. We work our way south and not as much activity along I-49 south of Fayetteville. But again, we have dangerous storms that are approaching the river valley. This is the most focused area right now. There's a look at Highway 412 and the Illinois River on the right side of the screen. And that's that area that we have to watch. So I just wanted to give a quick reset, take a detailed look all the way up and down the line. I know things are quiet right now in the newsroom just because these cells are just approaching, but we'll probably start getting reports of power outages and we'll get obviously reports of damage. We know damage is being confirmed in Sequoyah County. So we'll get some information on that.
County either, Dan, because there's another area of rotation that is still west of our weather coverage area right now, but it is going to.
Didn't want to forget about LaFleur County in case you didn't hear that at first with the microphone.
Yes.
We'll take a look at that on Weather 1. Josh, you can take us through that.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we go back to Mega Doppler here, we're looking at the most pressing storm in our weather coverage area. Yes, very strong circulation. So I can't stress this enough. If you live in Salisal, if you live just north of Interstate 40, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now. There is a confirmed tornado right now. It is doing damage. It's already done damage near Vian and McKee. It's moving off to the east, kind of southeast as well at about 50 miles per hour. So we've been talking about specific roads over the last several minutes in order to make it hyper local, to make sure that you know where exactly this tornado is heading. Again, right along Highway 59. That's where that area of rotation is starting to progress off to the east right now. We're also keeping an eye on Taylor Drive and Wheeler Road, just off to the north of Salisal. Avalon Street as well. You need to be in your tornado safe place. In Port Arthur Road, you're also needing to be in your tornado safe place right now. So this storm moving off to the east at 50 miles per hour. If we go back to our correlation coefficient, there it is right there, Dan. Looks a little bit more kind of scattered in nature right now.
Yeah, maybe it's cycled. Sometimes that debris can get centrifuged out, but we're still seeing a circulation that most likely will touch down again. So, and by the way, Josh, you were mentioning that LaFleur County storm.
Yep.
New tornado warning. You saw it pop up on the screen. Let's go to Weather 2 if we can. I'll give you the latest information on this. Here's the tornado warning that's approaching western LaFleur County. So you can see LaFleur, Tallahena, Worcester, We were just at Wolf Mountain not too long ago, and Wolf Mountain is included in that tornado warning polygon, or just at least on the northern edge. There's a circulation that's dropping southeast. So what's the latest information with this tornado warning? We'll bring that up for you. So a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible until 7:15. That's about another 8 minutes or so. Then you've got a tornado warning that's for 7:45. And then we now have a brand new tornado warning that just got issued. And that could be for that cell that's in Sequoia County farther east. And there it is, another one that's coming in towards the north side of LaFleur County. So this is a new tornado warning until 7:30. So we have 3 tornado warnings in our weather coverage area right now, and a tornado possible in Benton County that we're monitoring. We're watching very closely. That circulation has definitely weakened, though. But we have all those cameras recording, and we're watching them, and we're getting eyes in terms of what's happening with those cells. So something definitely to watch.
And on Weather One, I'm going to make 3 storm tracks here on all of these.
Go ahead and take me off the wall real quick. I got to do something.
Yep. So let's go here to Weather One. We've got that pulled up right now. We're going to do a storm track first on the most pressing storm in our weather coverage area. Again, there's a tornado warning that has been confirmed just off to the northwest of Sallisaw. This storm has already caused damage near Vian and in portions of McKee. We're going to take this storm off to the east-southeast at about 50 miles per hour. It's going to be moving towards Fort Smith and Van Buren. So keep an eye on this storm if you live in the River Valley along Interstate 40. But here's a look at the latest storm track there on this tornado warning. Liberty School at 7:10 a.m. That's going to be near the Sallisaw area. 7:13 a.m. Seven Oaks. 7:19 a.m. Maple Chapel. We've mentioned Blackjack this morning. 7:20 a.m. there. Mineral Springs Church at 7:22 a.m. 7:27 at Remy, and 7:28 a.m. in Roland, which is on the far eastern fringes of this tornado warning. So if you're in any of those areas, you need to be taking your tornado precaution right now. But Sallisaw, you definitely need to be in the most interior room of your house at the lowest floor, because this tornado warning is right on top of you. The area of rotation is right on top of you right now, and this is a confirmed tornado that is causing damage. We're going to go a little bit farther to the south here and take a look at these other tornado warnings that have just been issued as well. This one, again, just west of LaFleur County right now, near the Keota area, and this tornado warning does include Spiro and Shady Point. So we're going to be watching this storm very closely as it progresses off to the east-southeast at about 45 to 50 miles per hour. So we're going to take this storm, we're going to track it off to the south and east again. We're going to get hyper-local on these storms. That way everybody in these areas knows exactly where it's heading. Yes, sir.
I just want to show you something. Let's go to Weather 2. This is a look at all of our WeatherBug network cameras. You don't have to bring me up the wall in front yet, but Weather 2 will show you a 25 panel. This is the shelf cloud that's starting to come into Bentonville Fulbright. I was seeing a little bit of a lowering. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring this up full, and we're going to look at just that camera, Bentonville Fulbright. So here comes the shelf cloud associated with that, and you can see that cell that's moving east pretty quickly. Josh, you can take the mouse on that Weather 3 computer and just move it off the screen. So, yeah, there we go. Just so we don't have all the information on there. We'll take another camera here, the Bentonville Square. Here's a look at that shelf coming in. Very strong winds. Yeah, this is going to be moving through pretty quick. And you can see also on the leading edge just a little bit of weak circulation. So even though this won't have a tornado warning, it will produce some really heavy rain and some strong gusty winds. And we can work our way south, and we can also look at the Graduate Hotel. And so here's the Graduate Hotel looking off to the southwest. We also have Mount Sequoia. We're going to bring that up. And then last but not least, let's do that Kisser camera and show you what it looks like as we're going to have a view here. All right. So we're continuing to watch and monitor all of the latest information on that cell. Okay. That's enough of the cameras. Just wanted to show you what that shelf cloud is looking like as it's coming in. Okay, we'll go back to Weather 1, Josh.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
Nope, no, absolutely. No, we want to make sure, because the visuals are the most important thing, right?
Yeah.
We're always trying to make sure we have a visual of the storm. So this is that other tornado warning we're just talking about. This does include LaFleur County. It's moving off to the east-southeast at about 45 miles per hour. So if you live near Keota, it's right on top of you right now. That's just west of our weather coverage area. Cartersville at 7:16 a.m., 7:23 a.m., Flower Hill School, 7:24 in Ward, 7:27 in Sunset Corner, 7:28 near the Panama area, 7:31 in Spiro, and then a little bit farther to the south and east towards Highway 271. That storm, again, moving off to the east-southeast at about 45 miles per hour. I wanted to make one more storm track here, Dan, because we've got one more tornado warning and one more area of interest that we're watching very closely.
And while you're doing that, let's go to weather 2.
Yep.
And we can take a look at this shelf cloud that's approaching the Rogers area. So one of the things you're looking at for tornado potential, as I just appeared on the screen here, you'll notice that lowering that kind of spreads out. This is the shelf cloud. And if there's any type of lowerings that are a little more enhanced along the leading edge of the line, that's where you have that tornado potential. So like we said, I know we're not focused in Benton County right now. I know people are on the stream. What about Benton County? Obviously, there's a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible, but we are monitoring the cameras and we're looking all the way up and down the line to see if there's any type of circulation that pops up with the storm. And as of right now, this is just going to be strong gusty winds, but that doesn't mean that this can't ramp up really quickly. But the most significant storms are in the River Valley. Okay, Josh, I know you got that track on Weather 1.
And I also want to talk about this real quick too, Dan, and I'm seeing this on Mega Doppler. I'm not going to pull that up right now, but I wanted to report from NWS chat, Steve Piltz, who's on this right now.
Yes.
He said that circulation moving near Sallisaw is much weaker. The debris signature is faded. That lines up with what we're seeing on Mega Doppler right now. So it looks like maybe we're seeing maybe a cycling process on the storm, or it's getting a little bit weaker near Sallisaw. But based on our products right now, it looks like that tornado may have lifted. So we're going to keep a close eye on that. But here's that final storm track. Again, this is a tornado warning that's in effect for southwestern Lafleur County. This will include areas such as Red Oak right around 7:24 a.m., Lafleur at 7:32 a.m., Summerfield at 7:39, Community Chapel at 7:40, and near Worcester State Park and Worcester proper at 7:47 and 7:48 a.m. So again, 3 tornado warnings that are currently in effect right now. But I'm going to go back to Mega Doppler here, Dan, to kind of show you what Steve and I are talking about here. Again, this is the correlation coefficient. We're looking near Sallisaw right now, and you can see there was that debris signature earlier on near Vian and McKee. That's when that tornado was confirmed on the ground, causing damage. And then as you can see, that correlation coefficient has kind of faded a little bit. So that means that tornado has lifted near Sallisaw.
What's going on north of Atkins?
Yep. So I don't know what this
South
is.
of Brushy. Okay, yeah.
That might be maybe something natural. Maybe
go look at the reflectivity real quick. Could be biological.
Could be biological. I think that's biological. We typically see that around that area.
You know, and that's where the bat caves are.
It is.
So
that's what I was going to say.
That's where bats are like, you know what? I want to do some storm chasing. But
yes.
That circulation's still impressive. It might have obviously weakened and cycled a little bit, but it still has tornado potential.
You absolutely still need to be in your tornado safe place. If you live in Atkins, Long, Belfont, Remy, those areas, Roland, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now. I know right now maybe the tornado has lifted briefly, but sometimes these storms can cycle and drop more tornadoes as they progress off to the east.
Yeah, that circulation definitely still there. And by the way, you can keep that up real quick on Mega Doppler. Bring back that normalized rotation. Mm-hmm. We'll show you what this kind of signifies. So you're looking at when we change that banner on Weather 2, you'll be able to see this. We've got tornado possible when you start seeing the stronger rotation. So yeah, there you get to see the tornado tracker. This is what we're looking at. It basically makes it real simple to understand the reds and the green colors. It just basically shows, hey, this is where the circulation is located. We're starting to see the storm moving into Fayetteville. Might even have some power bumps as this storm moves in. By the way, if you do lose power, you can watch us on our live stream, knwa.com, as well as on 479 First, too, our new streaming channel on Roku, Apple TV, and as well as Amazon Fire Stick. So that's something new that we have just introduced over the last couple of weeks. Also, we're on Facebook. I know we got a lot of comments coming out, Josh. We're going to be looking at those here and comment and seeing what's going on. We got someone behind the scenes that's kind of popping up some of the comments.
Yeah, I got some unfortunate news, Dan. It looks like there was considerable damage and at least 2 people trapped in a storm shelter near Pegs, which is just west of our weather coverage area. But we were talking about that earlier. This is that same storm that's dropping tornadoes right now in Sequoia County. And unfortunately, it looks like there was some pretty significant damage near the Pegs area.
I believe that. Yeah. That's the cell that we were watching. And then that was when the radar, the severe thunderstorm warning came out. By the way, we're tracking this cell. There's a possible lowering. And so this is coming over the Rogers area. Terrible time, right? During the morning commute. You've got people that are getting ready to go to the Walmart amp, or excuse me, not the Walmart amp, but the Bud Walton Arena for the Walmart Shareholders Association, the shareholders meeting, for the Walmart. There's a look at that lowering. Yeah, see, it's just kind of gusty winds, but we're watching it. We're monitoring it.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the radar for Benton County. We haven't done that in a little while. And obviously the reason is the tornado warnings are more pressing. But there's a look at, we've got storm spotters that are on that. They would call in, they would let us know, but that's the leading edge of the line. James Hilger, Cave Springs, Peyton Langford, Brendan Lindsay, Joshua Myers. We already heard from Michael Craddock as he was tracking that cell. Just really kind of elongated rotation, circulations, nothing that's too pressing at the moment. Keep in mind, though, you are having the radar beam that's parallel to the line.
This is the Fort Smith radar.
And that's, so I'm going to switch that, and I'm going to take a look here on weather 2. We're going to look at INX, and we want to see if there's any type of circulation. There might be one that's trying to show up just a little south of Rogers. That's what we were looking at on our WeatherBug Network camera, that lowering that was coming through. So maybe a little bit of an enhanced circulation right there. Still a little bit high up because that's pretty high away from the radar. There's a look southwest of Rogers. There's where that camera was located that we were looking at. Let's zoom way in and let people know where that's at. So we can zoom way in. There you see the Creeks Golf Course, which, by the way, will be getting some really heavy rain. Rainbow Road, Wagon Wheel Road, Bramblewood Lane. Those are all areas that we'll have to watch that area of circulation. Okay.
This area that's moving into LaFleur County right now, too, Dan, needs to be watched very closely. Look at this rotation that we've got right here. That is that's moving right towards Highway 271 right now.
And Bacoshi, that's crossing into LaFleur County right now. So circulation that's still very, very strong, approaching Fort Smith. It's going to be on the north side of Fort Smith. But like I said, we've got that figure 5 camera. We'll be able to see that. It's actually Dripping Springs, close to figure 5. I want to bring that up here if we take a look. So the Kisser camera, we'll take that full. Still don't have any visible, contrast, but that's going to be coming here soon. Just like when you're storm chasing, if you're more than 10 miles out, you just don't see any type of structure. But that changes. Pretty strong circulation with that cell. At
the very least, Dan, very significant winds.
Yeah,
that's for sure. That's moving through Sequoia County right now. So we could see that in Fort Smith. As a matter of fact, on NWS chat, I'm just kind of looking at what they're talking about here. There were some train spotters that were in Salsaw about 5 minutes ago that said there was extremely high winds and near zero visibility along Interstate 40. So stout winds expected up to 70, maybe even 75 miles per hour in some spots.
So we're kind of resetting here in the weather lab. It's 7:20 in the morning. We knew these storms would be coming in right during the morning commute time.
Yes.
Now they're impacting I-49. We'll probably have some accidents. This is some really heavy rain too.
Yeah.
And there are flash flood warnings that are being issued as well for the region. And so we'll get to those. We'll show you that. But those flash flood warnings are mainly to the west and northeast Oklahoma. But several tornado warnings, several severe thunderstorm warnings. Storms that have rotation, one that had a confirmed tornado earlier. We currently don't have any confirmed tornadoes, but as you see behind us and also on the screen, that's that circulation that's going to be moving into eastern Sequoia County. That is the strongest that we have to watch, as well as the other cell that's to the south. And so multiple things that we're tracking. We are streaming all this live on knwa.com, 479 First, our new streaming channel, in case you haven't seen that.
Yep.
We're also on Facebook, on X, and YouTube. So we got basically all the platforms covered.
Yes.
But let's go ahead and do another storm track on this on Weather 1, and we want to bring that back up on the radar. So we'll bring that up full. Just want to do a reset. I'm also going to show a wide view on Weather 2 in just a second. Don't bring it up yet, but we want to look at where this line is in association with I-49. It is coming right towards I-49. So in the control room, be monitoring if we got any power outages. We also have Jacqueline House that's here. Let me know if you're ready for an update, Jacqueline, okay? All right.
Just a few power Just in Sequoia County, there's a little under 100, so 97, Adair County, 101, and I just rechecked Delaware County, so a little under 100 there, about 91 power outages. I don't see any for our state of Arkansas.
Okay, and that's just because the storms are beginning to move in, so there will be power outages. Hopefully they're not super widespread, but it takes a little bit of time for some of that information to get released. So thank you so much, Jacqueline. Appreciate that. Again, going to that live radar winds, we've got a storm track on that, and we're getting hyper local on those tornado warnings. There's a new tornado warning that just got issued, and that's all in the River Valley. And keep in mind, the River Valley, Josh, they had dew points in the mid 70s. I was doing that live update last night at around 11 o'clock saying this is not good. We've got dew points in the mid 70s. That's extremely humid air.
Absolutely.
And it has a lot of fuel for these storms to crank up.
Well, we talked about that yesterday too. You know, this instability that we've got in place right now, that's really what's fueling these thunderstorms at this time. Because to be honest with you, some of the QLCS ingredients that we look at, maybe not the most favorable, right? But with the amount of instability that we got in place, when you get to this time of year, June, July, right? You get these lines of storms that push to the area. This is how you can get your tornado potential, because these storms are sucking in a lot of fuel and they're maintaining their strength as they push off to the east.
That's right. Absolutely. And be monitoring in the control room, Savannah, those iDrive Arkansas cameras. You can bring those up sporadically. And not only that, but also the amount of accidents that we could have. I'm imagining we're going to, hopefully we don't, but probably there will be some accidents with the heavy rain because it's just now approaching the I-49 corridor. All right, let's take you through on weather too. As we look at the very latest on these storms. So we've got a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible in southwest Missouri. And by the way, that's quite a surge right there. I don't know if you see that, Josh.
I do see that, yes.
I'm going to bring that back up here.
Yep.
So this is what we call descending reflectivity core. This is the rear inflow jet that's pushing those storms out ahead of itself. If there would be a tornado, it would be associated in western Berry County. This is in southwest Missouri. You can see the Arkansas-Missouri state line, south of Monette. That is the area rotation. This is why they have that tornado possible. We work our way south. This storm is severe thunderstorm warned. There's a new tornado warning that's popping up, and we'll take a look at where that is. There's going to be a lot of them. I'm imagining it's in the River Valley, all those cells.
Okay. There it is.
There it is, and this is now into Arkansas. So people in Fort Smith, take your tornado precautions. I know Tracy, we used to have a production assistant, very nervous about storms. This is definitely the time where you want to prepare and start to think, where do I need to go? And so the tornado safety, the tornado acronym that we always spell out is the word duck. Downstairs, under something, center of your building or house, and keep away from windows. So that is the best idea. We've got two definitive circulations. This is the one, by the way, that already produced tornadoes. We got another circulation that's southwest of Spiro. Got a new severe thunderstorm warning we'll get to in just a bit. Josh is setting the storm motion to the warning, making sure that that storm relative velocity is correct. There's a circulation that's associated with that, approaching Long, south of Bellefonte, north of Muldrow. That is going to be moving right smack dab towards our Kisser WeatherBug Network camera. And
absolutely.
This is going to give us an incredible view of this cell.
We got a fresh storm track too on weather one of this storm, Dan.
All right.
So let's take just a quick look at that real quick. Again, new tornado warning that's been issued for portions of the River Valley in eastern Sequoia County towards Crawford and Sebastian County. 7:35 a.m. near the Remy area, so within the next 10 minutes or so. 7:46 a.m. at Greenwood Junction. 7:52 a.m. Trustee Elementary School. 7:56 in Van Buren. We've been talking about Van Buren all morning long, Dan, and you need to be watching this storm very closely. And I would go ahead and take those tornado precautions right now in Van Buren as that storm continues to swing off to the east. Kind of a southeasterly motion as well with that storm. That's why that storm track is tilted a little bit farther southeast. Summit Medical Center at 7:57 a.m. 8:04 a.m. near Tate Elementary School. A little bit farther down the line along Interstate 40, Alma at 8:09 a.m. and then at 8:15 a.m. near the Yostown area. So that's the new track on this storm, Dan. I'm looking at Mega Doppler right now. Looks like this storm might be tightening up once again. So we're going to have to watch that very closely.
So let's see where that Yeah, no, there's new severe thunderstorm warnings and the weather radio going off. Let's take a look here at what we got. So the new severe thunderstorm warning, right on cue. All right, weather. We'll take a look at Washington County. You heard that rumble of thunder, but there's that circulation. Let's go to weather 2 if we can in the control room. And weather 2 will give you a look at this new severe thunderstorm warning that is for Washington County as well as Benton County, western sections of Carroll County, and western and northwestern sections of Madison County. So right here in this cluster, the Four Corners area of all of those counties coming together, and that's the storm that's moving through. Now, this does not have a tornado possible with it, but it still has some strong winds. And remember, strong winds can do damage, and just as much damage as a weak tornado. So you've got until 8:15 that new severe thunderstorm warning. And by the way, I just want to take a look here at Fayetteville. We're at 727. I know people hopefully are getting to shelter. That is some extremely heavy rain coming down right now. You can't
Zero
even
visibility.
see the city of Fayetteville anymore. This is the city of Fayetteville lights. This is Mount Sequoia. That's the leading edge of the line that's moving in. Now, we were recording the cameras, so we'll be able to see that shelf cloud as it moved in and time lapse that. I always love doing that after the fact, looking at the cells, looking at the circulations, different things like that with this cell. So that is some extremely heavy rain. Now, farther east, you got our Huntsville WeatherBug Network camera, and that's looking off to the west-northwest. You look at the visibility. It's perfect. It's great. But you go farther west, and you're encountering all of that rain. And, boy, that is some really heavy rain. Let's look at the Graduate Hotel. And you can see that rain really starting to come down.
Camera's shaking a little bit too. Some strong winds definitely moving through Fayetteville with that line.
Absolutely, yeah. All right. I'm going to move that out of the way here real quick. Camera controller.
Whoa, yeah. Look at that. Big time lightning.
That's the type of lightning that, and there's the rumble.
Right on cue. Very close to us.
And by the way, that was less than 5 seconds. It's every 5 seconds that you count is 1 mile in terms of how far away that lightning bolt is. And that's a pretty impressive cloud to ground lightning strike right there. All right, going back to the radar, we could geek out on the science all we want, but we got to obviously track these 2 dangerous storms that are in the river valley that are tornado warned.
I think this storm's starting to ramp back up again, Dan.
We'll get back to that. Let's look at Mega Doppler on weather 1. Yep, there it is. There's a circulation
tightening up again.
And one of the ways you can tell it's tightening up and also has a reflectivity nub is south along. Going back to that reflectivity and velocity, anytime you see those greens starting to show up, that shows you some really intense rear flank downdraft winds. So the red, rain moving away from the radar, green colors, rain moving towards. That's the circulation right there just to the southeast along. This is a dangerous situation. Tornado warning has been issued. This could end up producing a confirmed tornado. This is the type of circulation that we saw tightening up just before it put down that tornado as it was moving towards Bayan and went almost literally right over Bayan. So,
yeah, and this storm also produced another tornado west of our weather coverage area, Dan, and Pegs. And, of course, the confirmed considerable damage in those locations. And I'm sure we're going to get some more information from Vian and McKee very soon as well as that rain continues to fall. But if you live in Remy, Roland, a little bit farther east and towards the Van Buren area especially, you need to be taking your tornado precautions right now. We've been talking about that DUCK acronym all morning long, Dan. It's a great thing, a great resource that we use all the time. It's the best way to stay safe when tornadoes are pushing through the area. There it is right there. Downstairs, under something, center of the house, and keep away from windows. And another thing, too, when we talk about under something, it's not just, under a roof of a house, obviously, but that means, like put a bicycle helmet on your head or put like a mattress over you. Just have something over you that's protecting your head, your vital parts of your body, because the way you get injured with tornadoes is with debris. Debris can be flying around as it's hitting your house. And if it strikes your head, that can cause serious injuries. So that's why we always say and we always stress to protect your head at all costs. And that's why we have under something in that acronym.
So I mentioned that flash flood warning, by the way. We had a flash flood warning that was issued. The only area that's included in that is if we go to weather 2, we got southwestern sections of McDonald County. There you see it, as well as Newton. This is southwest Missouri. But the flash flood warning in our weather coverage area is northern Delaware County. So it only just clips a small little area, but we got storms today producing some really heavy rain. I can hear it outside the studio really coming down. Then we've got another complex of storms overnight tonight into tomorrow. And at that time, all the creeks and streams will really be raised up. And that's going to cause, let's just say, probably some more excessive runoff to watch out for. So flash flooding, hydroplaning, heavy winds, strong gusty winds. Hail is about the only threat that we're really not having to deal with right now, Josh.
Yeah.
Hail is not concerned with these cells.
And pretty typical with a QLCS of this nature,
Yeah.
right? Typically, we don't see very large hail, and if we do, it's generally very small in nature, maybe like pea-sized at most.
Unless an isolated cell can develop out ahead of the line, but that doesn't look to be the case.
Yep.
Okay, I'm seeing the lowering now from our Kisser WeatherBug Network camera. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring that up full, and we'll take me off the wall. So this is a look at our Kisser WeatherBug Network camera. Here is that lowering associated. Boy, you kind of see just barely. Now remember, dew points are in the low 70s and mid 70s. That is a lot of fuel for these storms. So I'm going to move this camera just a little bit over to the left as we're watching this. And so there is a little bit of that contrast as that storm is approaching. Still not the best contrast with that. But again, this is going to have an incredible view as it comes over the Arkansas River Valley and gets a little bit closer. You'll start to see better contrast. Back to our mega Doppler source. We got a new radar scan. We want to look at that circulation, and there it is. That is really still tightening up. And what we mean by tightening up is, think about it this way. A figure skater, when they're spinning, they have their arms out. But then if you've ever watched it and they start pulling those arms in, they spin faster and faster. That's a conservation of angular momentum. And when that starts tightening up, that rotation spins faster, which allows the tornado to touch down from the bottom of the cloud base. So we are getting closer to that. Now here's a look at an iDrive Arkansas camera. I believe that looks like Springdale. You let me know okay, so that's the Tawnytown area. So yeah, pretty close to that. Looking northbound, and I do believe that's I-49, right? Or is that 412? Yeah, that's I-49. So that's RDOT, and that's in the Springdale area. So some rain coming down. People traveling along just fine, and probably not experiencing the heaviest of the rain yet. Actually, it's already come through there. So the heaviest rain now is moving east to Springdale, going to be approaching Huntsville. But remember, you saw that cloudy ground lightning strike, and we heard the rumble of thunder. So all hazards are possible except for hail. We'll take a look here at that lightning, and we'll see how electrified these storms are. 310 cloudy ground lightning strikes right now. If we zoom out, that is a lot of lightning.
Ton of lightning. Very electrified.
Yeah.
I mean, I was watching that this morning before the storms even arrived. I mean, there was just thousands of lightning strikes associated with the storm, and it hasn't slowed down at all because there's so much instability right now, so much fuel here in Northwest Arkansas in the River Valley. But it looks like that iDrive Arkansas camera that we're looking at right now, Dan's in Fayetteville along Interstate 49. Talked about this yesterday on the morning shows. This is probably the best time to leave now after the severe weather has passed.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and head off to work if you haven't already. It looks like the severe weather threat, at least along I-49 between Fayetteville and Bentonville, is starting to drop off. So that's a good sign right
So
there.
a wide view, 7:35. It's been a few minutes since we've given you a wide view. Southwest Missouri, severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible tag. That is including eastern McDonald County, western Berry County. That's the only counties included in our weather coverage area. You've got a severe thunderstorm warning that's included for northeastern Washington, eastern, southeastern Benton, western Carroll, northwestern Madison County. But then you work your way south, you see these darker reds showing up. You see the line is a little more intense, almost have a reflectivity nub associated with that as it's approaching Fort Smith. We're watching that closely. This is the most dangerous storm. We got 3 tornado warnings in the River Valley. So this is the area we're going to concentrate on. This is where we're going to start getting hyper local and super specific in terms of roads and who's going to be impacted. And right now, that circulation moving on the north side of Fort Smith and right through Van Buren, and it looks like it might be a little north of I-40. So this is getting closer to Dripping Springs, Josh, and we'll continue to watch that.
So I was looking at the radar here, just very interesting. This is really in the worst possible spot right now, because if we go back to weather 1 here, we're going to take a look at the correlation coefficient. Remember, I talked about this earlier. This is looking at the different sizes and shapes of the things that are being scanned by that radar beam. And here's the deal, Dan. You look at this correlation coefficient, and you're looking at this area just off to the east of Liberty, you may be thinking, all right, that's a correlation coefficient drop. But notice how it doesn't really move over the last couple of scans. So I think, again, we're picking up maybe on some kind of maybe bats or birds or something like that that's getting lifted or pushed away from the storm. They're just as scared as we are of all these thunderstorms when they push through northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. So we're watching this area very closely right now. There is a very well-defined reflectivity nub right now, Dan, that is just north of Remy that we're going to have to watch very closely. Again, anytime you see that reflectivity nub like that, where that storm kind of pushes out, I mean, you can see that. That is very well-defined right there. You can see that hook right there north of Remy. So you need to be in your tornado-safe place right now near Dripping Springs, Figure 5, as Dan mentioned earlier, Rudy area, Rena, Van Buren even, because sometimes these storms can wobble back to the south and east. So if you're in this tornado warning, you need to be in your tornado-safe place and be watching the storm very closely.
I'm trying to get a view. There's just so much haze and humidity that you can't see anything. You can see it kind of very, very off in the distance. It's going to have to get a lot closer in order to get a visual on that. And it's just, that shows you
that up right here
why storm spotters are pretty important. Yeah, we can bring that up on weather too. Okay, you got it. There you go.
So there's that camera he's talking about right there. That's the Kisser FM camera near Dripping Springs. So again, that's very close to the storm, and yet we're not getting a great view still.
No.
I mean, it has to be right on top of you to see anything.
And now really starting to approach the Fort Smith line, and that's also got a TVS on there. Let's look at that real quick. Look at the reflectivity and look at the velocity on this and see if that's a true velocity signature. Yeah. Go ahead and get that out of there.
Yep.
So, yeah, this is balanced right here. So this is right along the leading edge. And keep in mind when it gets closer to the radar, sometimes you get some false trips on the mesocyclone detection algorithm and the tornado vortex signature algorithms. Just basically it's saying the radar, oh, this is a circulation. And then actually, no, it could be, just basically anomalous propagation sometimes. In terms of what we mean by that is the radar beam is hitting objects that aren't the storm.
Yeah, I mean, the beam's 416 feet up in the air.
Yeah.
So it's definitely going to pick up on some of those things like buildings or towers or, trees.
And there could be some super refraction that bends that beam into the ground.
Yep.
So, all right, but that's something we have to watch. There's a circulation that has a reflectivity nub associated with it. I will say it's kind of broadening out a little bit.
I would agree.
On that rotation, but nevertheless, you do have, if we go back, that descending reflectivity core. This is an intense line. Let's look at this on our WeatherBug Network cameras where it is a little bit closer, like the Fort Smith Public Library. You're going to be able to see this lowering here. And this is the shelf cloud associated with it. So let's go to Weather 2 real quick, bounce around to that. There's a look at the Fort Smith Public Library. And then we also have Miss Laura's historic site that's basically going to be almost right underneath it. Yep. Actually, that just went out. That's a sign you got some pretty strong winds that are approaching the area. So you're going to see the visibility dropping really quick. This is the public library off of Rogers Avenue, and Garrison Avenue is just kind of right off in the distance here. This is climbing up the hill looking west-southwest. Or should I say west-northwest just a little bit, since Rogers runs a little west-northwest to east-southeast. Okay, starting to see that base now even better now as it's moving in on the Kisser camera. So this is what we're looking at right here. You can see just a little bit of that contrast. This is where that tornado would be touching down if there is. It's radar indicated at the moment. Look at the heavy rain. Yeah, so there's the Oklahoma state line right in the thick. That's an iDrive Arkansas camera.
Oh, look at that sign.
Arkansas, yeah.
That sign is shaking, Dan, on that camera there. I mean, that's some very strong winds moving right along Interstate 40 right now.
It is, and you got the wind, too, that's caused those raindrops, causing that visibility to kind of drop. So, yeah, very, very low visibility. But this right here, we're finally getting a view of that circulation, even some ragged lowerings here associated with that. And you can see the motion in those clouds. So got a new severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible. Let's just kind of look at this circulation and go back to the radar. But that is finally a visible view
Yes.
of this storm that has that tornado possible.
We definitely want to keep that up as long as we have a view.
Yeah.
For sure. So let's put that Kisser FM camera back into that smaller box right there on the right side, just so we can keep an eye on that lowering. I will say this, Dan. One of the tornado warnings has been dropped, allowed to expire. That was the one that was near Spiro and Panama and LaFleur County. So there's no longer a tornado warning
All right, that's
on
good.
that particular storm there. There is still a tornado warning in effect for southwestern LaFleur County. This is moving towards the LaFleur area right now. But
let's go back to that camera. Sorry, you
Yeah.
got to look at this. Bring this up
Yep.
full.
Yep,
This is very intense.
wicked.
Look at those. Look at those enhanced lowerings right there.
Wow.
Bring me up in front of the wall. So this is some extremely low cloud base. You can see the striations in the storm. Now, some of this will be scud, but at times this could wrap up and rapidly produce a tornado. So we're watching this very, very closely as it's about to move over the Fort Smith area. You see how much it changes in just a short amount of time? I'm imagining they're sounding the sirens in the river valley. In fact,
Absolutely.
you can probably look at some of the comments on Facebook Live, and I bet you we have that going on right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We got some folks that are reporting their powers out right now. 3,202 without power in the Sequoia County area. And there it is right there from Jeremy. Tornado sirens going off in Mulberry right now. And then we got some other folks that are talking about some tornado sirens going off near Dripping Springs as well. So definitely got those sirens going off, Dan. Looking at radar, you can still see that descending reflectivity core right there. It's definitely still prevalent right now, just off to the north and west of Van Buren. There it is on Mega Doppler.
Yeah.
And it's moving right towards Dripping Springs. In fact, you can see Dripping Springs right there. Our camera
It's located right there.
right there. Yeah. I mean, right there in Dripping Springs, northwest of Figure 5.
Look at that lowering. In fact, you can see some clouds that appear to be funnels, but they're probably just scud clouds. But that is something to watch.
Absolutely.
Oh, look at that lightning strike off in the distance.
Major lightning.
Again, we've got this recording too, so we'll be able to see what's going on with it. Now, there's a circulation that's approaching through Van Buren too. That we don't have as much of a view of.
Oh, wow.
And that shows up too. So that could be a possible tornado as well.
That is a true area of rotation too. That's not just because it's close to the radar.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell that's a significant area that we got to watch.
And you might be like, well, that doesn't look super impressive. Well, the reason is because it's only a few hundred feet off the ground from the radar location.
Yeah, 416 feet.
Yeah. All right, so people are slowing down a little bit on 49, just past Town on 412. Yeah, so there you see a little bit of a backup right there. Someone on the side of the road with their hazards on. And by the way, Jacqueline, you've been mentioning that there's been some people that are commenting about the hazards. Go ahead and just take us through that a little bit.
Yeah, some people are driving with their hazards out there, and I think that's maybe illegal here in the state of Arkansas. So just a reminder, as you're out there and you're driving, to take it slow. Those hazards kind of serve as a blinder for people actually seeing you. So your lights and your wipers, those are sufficient enough if you just so happen to be out there right now. So just seeing a couple of people on Facebook talking about people driving with their hazard lights on.
Okay.
Let's go to Kisser FM. Let's go right now.
All right, that sounds good. Go to the Kisser FM camera.
Yep. This is
big time lowering.
Big time lowering right now. I mean, look at that. It's rolling in right now, right over Dripping Springs. You can see it.
And this will be our view, and then all of a sudden it's going to get shrouded in rain. I'm just moving the camera over just a smidge. See if we can do that. There we go. Just a little bit. Nope. Go back. Oh, look at the inflow. Come on.
Oh, wow.
Go back if you can. That's looking almost southeast, and you got those clouds that are racing in. It's a little bit delayed. Josh, go ahead and put it straight south.
You want me to put it? Okay, let me control it right now.
Yeah, you go ahead and control it.
Yep. So we're pointing this.
Wow, look at
that.
that.
Whoa,
inflow.
look at that
Man.
lightning strike.
So is that straight south?
That's straight south.
There
Yep.
it goes.
There it goes. There. It's a little bit delayed.
Okay, go southeast now.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, obviously there's going to be limited cell service with this cell coming in. We're pointing at southeast. This is why we do the presets ahead of time.
Yep, there it is right there, southeast.
Right here. Look at that inflow.
Yeah,
so you
got
clouds that are racing in. This is about to put down.
Well, I think there might be a little funnel right there. Did you see that, Dan?
Yep.
That was definitely maybe a brief tornado, honestly.
Okay, let's keep watching that.
Yep.
See, that's not straight line winds because all of this is going towards the storm. This is all inflow. If you're looking south, the clouds are usually moving from right to left. This is moving from left to right, meaning that is inflow into the circulation and into the storm.
Wow. I mean, that thing is cranking.
Those
down.
clouds are moving. Yeah.
A little bit of delay.
Hopefully we don't lose that camera because it's just about ready to move overhead.
Oh man.
All right, let's go back to the radar real
Yep.
quick while we're having a little bit of a hiccup on the camera. We do have it recording in case something happens. I think we might have lost the
We
camera.
might have lost it. There's a lot of lightning going on there. And unfortunately,
We
the power
had that
main went
view,
out.
but take your tornado precautions. It's a very serious storm going through Van Buren right now. Dripping Springs, location of our camera. There's the circulation. All those clouds are racing towards the southwest into the storm. That's where, and the
Camera's done.
did go down.
Okay, so our next maybe best view, Dan,
Alma.
Alma. Yep, exactly.
And thanks to Alma for getting that back up because they had it down a little while ago.
Yep.
And then they got it back up and running. And so that is looking southwest. Obviously, the camera technology is a little less. And so we're trying to upgrade these cameras as much as we can. I think the camera's back.
It's back up. But now it looks like it's a little rain wrap now.
Yeah.
We're
Our
shrouded in rain.
visibility is going to be shot.
Yep.
Oh, keep going, keep going east. Real quick, before we do that, I'm going to bring up this full. This is our Dripping Springs camera. There's the lowering associated with that.
Look at that inflow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Oh, look at the circulation.
Yeah.
You can see clouds moving this way from right to left and then left to right.
Hey, Dan, we got to
There's your
observe tornado. Observe tornado. Confirmed.
Okay.
On that warning.
I bet you that's it right there.
We saw it on there. You saw that little brief spin up.
That's starting right there. That's the tornado that's happening. That's rapid rotation. Where is that located exactly? That's going to be on the north side of Fort Smith, south side of Van Buren. We'll go to the radar. We'll take a look at that.
Mm-hmm.
And there it is. We're looking southeast. So that is not the circulation that's over Dripping Springs right now. That's that new one that's west of Kibler, approaching Alma.
Yep. Spotter reported a tornado on the Oklahoma-Arkansas line just north of I-40.
Okay.
So the second circulation developing just south of Fort Smith as well. So we got two areas of rotation that we're watching right now, Dan.
And we're about to be rain wrapped, and that's going to be the end of these the visuals.
So back to Alma then.
Yep.
Yep.
But let's go to the radar. And thanks for bringing that up. Let's take a look at those details. In the meantime, while you're doing that, Josh, I'm going to scope out the rest of the area, make sure we're not missing anything. And no, the storms are a lot weaker in northwest Arkansas and southwest Missouri. And that's because they're running out of the ingredients. They're running out of those favorable ingredients for tornado potential. So if you're watching from Bentonville, from Springdale, from Fayetteville, from Bella Vista, from Gravette, Decatur, Gentry, Siloam Springs, Prairie Grove, Lincoln, you're done. Severe weather threat's over. You don't have anything to be worried about. That looks like a TDS.
I think that's it right there, Dan.
That's the tornado debris
I've digged it out.
signature. Let's look at the PTDS. Not showing up. Yep.
Oh, there it is.
Confirmed.
Thank you.
We got a confirmed tornado that's touching down on the east side of Van Buren. And that's what we were looking at. There's that rapid rotation on our Kisser WeatherBug Network camera.
This is right along Interstate 40.
Yep.
So if you live in Shibley, Union Pacific Railroad, right? If you live right along the railroad there, that's northeast of Van Buren, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now. Alma, you need to be in your tornado safe place. It looks like that storm, Dan, might be moving straight towards the Alma area.
Yeah, and it's on the ground.
Yeah, and
this
it is on
a
the ground.
confirmed tornado. We have a tornado reported on the ground, 7:51. There's a look at some of the areas. We'll take a look at the circulation here on weather too. And by the way, Savannah, go ahead and, if you can, put up some lower thirds just to let people know as they're watching. Tornado confirmed in Sebastian County.
Yep. If you live on Sunnyside Road, Old Concord Road, just northeast of Shibley, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now. There is a tornado causing damage just to the southwest of you. It's right on top of you. You're probably hearing very strong winds.
Actually, Southern Crawford County. Yeah.
Yep. Need to be in your tornado safe place right now.
And we saw that rotation. You know that, Josh, when you're
yeah.
looking at that, and visibility is gone.
When you're storm chasing, that's when you know it's on. When you see that inflow.
That was what you saw with the Greenland tornado.
Absolutely.
Yep. Did you see
Yep.
the lights flicker from
I
Alma?
did. Yep.
Just saw that. So
Wow.
we got flickering lights. Now with Alma, we want to be looking to the southwest. So I'm going to move.
You need me to do that?
Yeah, go ahead and move that camera, Alma, to the southwest, because we're looking due west.
Yeah, let me get back on our software here.
Yep. So you're going to see this camera move. You're going to see that's the leading edge of the line. There's a confirmed tornado. Visibility is a little limited, but you saw as it approaches, that visibility will increase. Look at how dark it is. The lights are still on. Now, we know typically the lights turn off at this time. Some of them that are controlled, though, with basically how dark it is. Whenever you have a big time storm like this coming through, that happens. So, well, Jackie, we're going to start to see people's power going out a little bit more, especially in Crawford County with this confirmed tornado. And we'll be on the lookout for power flashes as well, Josh.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we might see those very soon. This tornado, by the way, Dan, is tracking, like right along Interstate 40.
Yeah.
I mean, it's taking, because, Interstate 40 kind of travels a little bit more kind of east-northeast when it's in between Van Buren and Alma. This tornado is moving in that direction. So if you live in Shibley, Concord, Alma, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now. That tornado is tracking right along Interstate 40, moving towards your area.
All right, let's go to the radar and we'll let people know. So we're looking at different cameras right now, watching this storm coming through. Let's go to Mega Doppler real quick. Yeah, there's that tornado track. By the way, our Weather Bug Network camera, we're looking southwest. It's coming right towards Alma. Take your tornado precautions, get to your safe place, and we'll be watching this cell closely. So
it looks like it's tracking kind of east-northeast there.
Oh, yeah. There you go. This kind of shows you over time when that circulation started to ramp up just east of Van Buren. Damage confirmed near Shibley, moving eastward. This is a little south of I-40, just barely south of I-40. And by the way, for the iDrive Arkansas cameras, Savannah, in the control room, you can try bringing them up around Alma and a little east. Sometimes they're not looking in the exact location. Looks like maybe a little bit of lifting going on. We'll see. Hopefully it does lift. But, yeah, it's not quite as tight, and so maybe that circulation touched down and then lifted currently. And I think looking at that rotation, maybe that is the case.
I think so too, Dan. It might be cycling a little bit.
Yep.
We're also very close to the radar beam too, so that makes it a bit of a challenge.
I'm not seeing anything on our Alma Weather Bug Network camera. Now, here's the deal. Like, we could keep Mega Doppler, and I'm going to bring up on Weather 2 a look at that camera along with a live view of Alma. So Weather 2, please, if we can. There you get to see Alma Weather Bug Network camera looking south. That probably is associated where the tornado previously was. I don't think it's confirmed anymore. Still, though, take your tornado precautions. And now, even though might be a new tornado
warning
here.
Yeah, tornado warning now in effect for Franklin County.
Okay.
So this is an extension of this.
Oh, look at that. You can see funnels.
Yeah.
And that might be the developing tornado right there. So it's literally cycling.
Yeah, new tornado.
Mentioned.
So I think this is going to be our new tornado right here, Dan, in just a few moments. I'm also going to pull up that new tornado warning real quick as well on Weather 1. So there it is on Weather 1 right there. We're going to turn on our warning display so we can see that new tornado warning, the new information on it. Again, this is a confirmed tornado on the ground, folks. So we might be seeing a new one developing right now over Alma. This is a tornado warning that includes Crawford, Franklin, and Sebastian County, goes until 8:30 a.m. Does look like that tornado warning, Dan, maybe shifting more northeast, which lines up with what we're seeing on radar.
Yeah, it does.
Yep. So that storm's moving a little bit more northeast. So I'm going to get a new storm track on this as well. Let's pull up that.
While you do, let's look at the velocity on Mega Doppler and go back to Weather 2 while you're bringing up that storm track.
Yep.
Because this is the visibility of the cell as it comes right over Alma.
Yes.
So I just wanted to show that. There's the circulation associated with it. I don't see anything on the ground now. I know it's a confirmed because it was previously confirmed, but that doesn't mean something can't touch down really, really rapidly. So it makes sense to say that, this does continue with a confirmed tornado.
Well, we saw it on that Kisser FM camera
Ooh.
too, Dan. I'm pretty sure we saw a brief tornado there.
Yeah.
This is the kind of the nature of these storms most of the time.
Let's zoom out a little bit and let people know where this is headed and kind of put that in. And then you can do a storm track on this as we track out this cell.
Yes. So it's moving off to the east-northeast at about 50 miles per hour right now. So we're going to get hyper local on this storm. We're going to go back to weather 1 here. We're going to go to the most dangerous part of the storm. We're going to move this off at 50 miles per hour off to the east-northeast. Again, that area of circulation is right on top of Alma right now. This is going to be moving just north of Ozark. But if you're in Ozark, you need to be taking your tornado precautions as well, because sometimes these storms can shift back to the east a little bit. So Alma, the storm's right on top of you. You already need to be in your tornado safe place right now. Dyer at 8:03 a.m., Mulberry at 8:08, Pleasant View at 8:11 a.m., White Oak at 7:22 a.m., and then maybe a little bit farther down the line towards the Barnes area at 8:27 a.m. Again, I think, Dan, maybe our graphic system is messing up a little bit once again. But White Oak, it's going to be over your area at 8:22 a.m.
What's wrong?
Looks like it might be trying to do that standard time.
Well, no, it's 7:58, so that's right.
Yeah, but look at White Oak, it has 7:22. I don't know why it says that on there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's strange.
Yeah, it's strange. Yes.
That's weird.
Yes, but it is 8:22 a.m. in White Oak.
White Oak, you're in Central Standard Time. Everybody else, Central Daylight Time.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's like Arizona. No, we're not dealing with that. But there's that tornado warning that is confirmed moving northeast, as you mentioned. This is I-40 between Van Buren and Alma, and it's about to move in between Alma and Mulberry. I don't know if it's on the ground. It says it's confirmed. We'll look at the tornado debris signature.
I'm not seeing anything.
I do have a lot of people wondering, as always, on social media and on Facebook Live, who is going to be out of the storm threat. And we already mentioned it before, but sometimes nerves can be running high when you have these types of storms. There's the track of that cell that has a tornado warning. Let's go to weather 2 and tell you who's in the clear. If you're in Benton and Washington County, you're done. The storms are over. So go to weather 2. Yes, you have some rain. Now you could have some what we call stratiform lightning, where you have lightning behind the cell. So be aware of that. In fact, we'll bring that up real quick. We'll look at the negative, positive, and you see some of these lightning strikes that are to the west of the main core. So you could still have some cloud to ground lightning strikes that can be dangerous. But anywhere in Benton and Washington County, you're done. I don't have to name your individual town. It's okay. The severe weather threat's over. Huntsville, not so much, because the storm's approaching you. Carroll County, you've got the storm that's moving in. This is a much weaker line, and this will probably start to lose its severe thunderstorm characteristics. So that line is much weaker. Farther south in the River Valley, we have much more intense storms. We got storms that are moving into southern Sebastian County that have a tornado possible. Notice how that track is moving northeast. This is the more favorable motion compared to east-southeast. And there you go. You see the warning just got dropped for that storm northeastern LaFleur County.
That southern part of the line is pretty weak right now.
This is all cold pool dominant, outflow dominant. This is not tornado potential. It's where it's balanced and where the updraft, downdraft convergence zone is balanced. And so that just basically says you got an updraft, downdraft. They're right next to each other. And that is right along the leading edge of the cold pool and the shear. And all that stuff. So that's the storm that's the most dangerous. That's the one that we're focused on. That's the one that we're covering here. But everywhere else, you're done. And if we look at Huntsville, let's see if we can see the shelf cloud moving in from our Huntsville WeatherBug Network camera. And there you get to see it. This is actually looking south. So Josh, let's move that Huntsville camera and point it west.
Yes.
And we'll get a view of that. Alma can't see any rotations anymore. So Josh is moving that Huntsville camera, and you'll see this in real time. So that's looking northwest right now. I can tell because the water tower.
That's actually due west.
Is that?
Right to our presets,
Yeah, then that spun around, so that's not right.
Let's see here. This is a northwest view.
Okay, yeah, the camera did spin around.
Yeah.
Sometimes those mounts, we have them positioned where exactly you're looking. So go southwest, which will be truly west.
Yep, so that'll be over here.
Yep. Now you're going northeast. So just do the preset if you want. Right click and do southwest, which will be more west. Yeah. Keep going. keep going to the left. We'll see if we can see that shelf cloud. There you go. That should be looking due west.
Yeah, I think our presets got messed up because that preset that I just clicked on, Dan, is southwest.
That's what I was saying. Yeah. Because it spun around.
Yeah.
So the camera rotated in a clockwise direction from that cell coming in. But that's not menacing. That probably won't even be severe warned anymore. Back to the tornado warning, back to tracking that dangerous storm. I will say the circulation is not as strong as it was, but you got some areas that are showing up just to the southwest of Alma earlier. Now that rotation has started to weaken. In fact, let's put the sigma on there as we look at the normalized rotation. Let's do the sigma on the normalized rotation. So this is the debris signature, and there you see that rotation. It was pretty strong, and then touched down near Shibley, and then moved northeast. Still was on the ground southwest of Alma, and then I think it lifted. Now we do have a little bit of a circulation by Yostown that's showing up, and that could be our new tornado potential. So let's go to the newest one. That's probably going to be where the new circulation starts to develop, just to the south of Dyer. If we look at the velocity image, there you see it just barely showing up. So as of now, I think this is going to become a tornado warning without it being confirmed, but you still have that reflectivity nub as well as the descending reflectivity core. So it's all right there, Josh. This could ramp up really fast in the snap of a finger. Still need to be taking your tornado precautions.
And that's why you can't take your eye off of it at all, because we just saw over the Kisser FM camera earlier when we actually saw that tornado briefly touch down, how quickly these things can ramp up and then kind of cycle. That's what you typically see with these QLCS type events. You see just constant cycling. Looks like the storm may be weakening. You take your eye off of it, and then bam, it drops another tornado. So that's why we're not going to stop watching this part of the line, because as you mentioned earlier, Dan, very important when it comes to QLCS tornado potential, the geometry of the line. And this is a line normal area right here. And this is why this part of the storm has been the most dangerous. It's already produced tornadoes near Pegs. We saw one near Vian and McKee. And then we saw some near Van Buren as well. So this storm has had a history of producing tornadoes, and that's why we're not going to stop watching it. But I will say this, Dan, if I zoom out here and I look at other storms, you look at Northwest Arkansas, as you mentioned earlier.
Done.
This is nothing. This is done. There won't even be a severe thunderstorm warning anymore within the next few moments. We go down here towards LaFleur County.
Those are weakening.
These are weakening too. So
except maybe southwest of Heavener. We'll have to watch that, see if there's any. Yeah, see, it's all cold pool dominant.
Yeah, so it's just strong winds.
Look at the spectrum width, and then you'll be able to see that boundary is probably surging out ahead of it. Yeah, that is not balanced at all by any means.
That's done.
And that's also the 0 to 3 kilometer bulk shear vector is kind of pointing southwest. It's parallel to that. So,
yes, which already wasn't favorable in the first place, which makes this even more unbelievable how strong these storms have been this morning.
But boy, when you saw those clouds that were racing towards the southwest, that's not something you see with a weak storm.
No,
that's a rapidly developing tornado.
Hey, by the way, Dan, you just called it. There it is right there. No more observe tag on it.
Okay, so just a tornado radar indicated. I mean, just a tornado, it can still ramp up. So we're still taking this seriously, and we're still covering this on air because we have a dangerous situation with the tornado warning, radar indicated rotation. The rotation is weakening, so this might not last the entire time of the warning. But still, Franklin County. This, by the way, is going to be a little north of Peter Pender. I know some people are asking about Peter Pender. We can work our way south. You can see Cecil, Branch, Charleston. You're going to be zooming in right into this area. That's just north of Branch. There's Peter Pender out of the tornado warning for Franklin County. So just a little bit of light rain coming through there. So we'll zoom out just a little more. There you see that circulation that prompted the tornado warning. Still have maybe a little bit starting to ramp back up just to the east of Alma. And so on I-40, if you got any cameras east of Alma with iDrive, you'll be able to look at that area of rotation and what it's like right now. Any accidents at all on iDrive? That's nice to see. Maybe we had that slowdown that was located in your Tawny Town. Jacqueline, you got anything? Okay,
exit
go ahead,
62.
Yeah,
exit 62 in Washington County, southbound direction.
That there is an accident?
Yes, in progress right now. There was another one in Washington County. That one has been cleared. That was northbound, exit 72. But the one in progress right now is at exit 62, that is southbound.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that information. Let's take a look here at that Huntsville WeatherBug Network camera. And there's that ragged lowering. Josh, you might be moving the camera around.
Yeah, I'm moving a little bit.
It's just that's not severe at all. You can see how it doesn't have that solid base.
Yeah, it's not even moving.
It's
really.
ragged.
Yeah, like you don't see the rotation at all. Like when we were looking at the Kisser FM camera, you could kind of see how it was rapidly rotating. That's just kind of limp. It's not even moving.
This has outflow. It's getting undercut by the storm. It's starting to dissipate. It's not a solid edge to the line anymore, so it's pretty much over. Okay, yeah. Jacqueline, yes, it looks like you have some information. Let's go ahead and we'll take the news desk real quick. And are you okay with that? Were you ready? Okay, Jacqueline, go ahead and we'll pass it along to you.
All right, Dan and Josh, thanks so much for that coverage. Stay with us on our Facebook Live. Dan and Josh are tracking the storms that are happening here in our area. We'll also keep you updated on power outages as well as accidents here in Arkansas. Not seeing many power outages right now. Still Sequoyah County with the most. Last check, about 3,500 without power in Sequoyah County. So stay with us here on KNWA, and we will keep you posted on what's going on. Again, check our Facebook Live. There is a map of Oklahoma. So those ones that are kind of bordering where Arkansas is, that are going to be the areas that are impacted. Again, Sequoyah County with the most power outages at about 3,500 at last check. Here in Arkansas, I'm still seeing in Benton County about 100 and about 70 people without power. In Washington County, that number very low at about 22 people. So not many power outages yet coming through our area. Just yet, it seems like that River Valley area is the one that is being impacted. Dan, Josh, any more information that you all want to share?
Yeah, we're just going to stay on this tornado warning just a little bit longer until it expires. We appreciate all that information. This probably will be the last tornado warning of the morning.
I would agree.
And that's going to be the end of this severe weather coverage. Then we've got to go out, assess the damage that happened. We had that confirmed tornado near Vian, McKee, and Sequoyah County, as well as the one that was very close to Van Buren, touchdown just east of Van Buren. So let's go back to real fast, the severe thunderstorm warning the tornado warning, excuse me. The confirmed tornado is expiring.
That's dropped off.
So that's gone. It should drop off on the live Doppler radar, but it still shows up on there. But it's over. It's done. So we don't have to worry about that anymore. We do have that radar indicated tornado. So we'll bring this up. We'll show you the information. This goes until 8:30. I highly doubt that this lasts until 8:30.
I agree. This is starting to fall apart quite a bit. You got a lot of rain that's now like shooting out ahead of the storm as well. So you got a lot of rain-cooled air. That means it's more outflow dominant, and that means the tornado potential is rapidly decreasing.
Yeah, you can see the line is a lot weaker. Granted, yes, we are looking at the radar from Fort Smith, and there's a lot of attenuation to the beam. You look at the line, though, from Tulsa, and it's still a lot weaker, too.
Yeah.
But before we drop off of it, we just want to make sure that this won't ramp up very quickly and produce another tornado. Now, we will continue to do our live stream here on KNWA,
Facebook,
knwa.com, 479 first. If you have a TV, we're going to return you back to regularly scheduled programming. Even though this tornado warning is going to officially continue for a little while, I don't see any imminent threat on this producing a tornado. A little south of Mulberry, some rotation. If it does prompt stronger rotation, we'll let you know about it. We'll jump on there. Appreciate your work,
Josh.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you coming in,
too. You've been covering that all morning,
Yes.
But we're going to send you back to regularly scheduled programming. Again, you can watch us on knwa.com, X, YouTube, Facebook, and as well as 479 First, our streaming channel. That's available on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire Stick. Keep you here with your weather authority for the latest severe weather information.
For 41.9. Possible injury with that one.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Brother.
That was busy.
So what did we hear on that?
Okay.
Possible injury.
So again, some more reports here. My dad is the finance director for Greenwood, Arkansas. Kibler and Alma saw a confirmed brief touchdown.
Yeah.
So starting to get those reports in right now.
And you can tell them that we saw it on our WeatherBug Network camera. We have it recorded.
Yeah,
we're still streaming. We're still streaming. Yeah. We're still streaming. We have to continue on that stream. So, all righty, everyone. Well, we knew that was going to be a busy one. Let's see what. So 807, we got slight rotation near Witter. There's going to be some areas that we'll have to watch. We were looking at that though, Denton, and that circulation was a lot weaker. Nothing super major on that. In fact, I don't think they're going to continue a severe thunderstorm warning. If they do, it'll be a lower end severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it still is balanced, so we got to watch that. But
look at all that rain though out ahead of it now.
Here's what I want to do real quick. Before I show you a really cool graphic on QLCS tornadoes, because this is something I've cooked up for a long time. We want to make sure that nothing's going to produce while we're going through a real detailed scientific breakdown.
Yes.
But we work our way south. You got the line that's in Western Carroll, Central Madison County, and then you work your way south and you can see the tornado warning that is officially in effect until another 17 minutes. I don't see that happening.
I don't see that continuing.
Nope. In fact, circulation is basically gone. Even that one by Mulberry, it's all falling apart. This is all outflow dominant. And so this is cold pool dominant. Well, what do we mean by cold pool dominant? What do we mean by shear dominant? And what do we mean by balanced?
It's all about the geometry of the line.
And it's all about this graphic that I'm going to show you.
I like how you said you've been cooking it up.
Yeah, I've been cooking.
He's been cooking.
Got to have the millennial talk, right?
Let the man cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let him cook. Haul up.
Holla.
Let him cook.
Like that Toy Story man.
Yeah.
Holla, let him cook.
All right. So you notice at the bottom of the screen, if you're worried, all clear in Benton and Washington counties, Eastern Carroll, Eastern Madison County. We do have the radar as the new scan comes in. If this does start to ramp up, we'll let you know about it. But I think this will really give you an idea as to how QLCS tornadoes develop. So let's get to it and talk about a QLCS is a quasi-linear convective system. A quasi-linear convective system is basically a line of storms that isn't quite a solid, perfect line, but instead is kind of like a broken line.
Yes.
And there's cells that can be attached, and there's cells that can be, attached. So if we look at this, there's a 3 ingredients method. We're going to pull the camera off the screen. In order to determine that tornado potential, number 1, you find balanced or slightly shear dominant areas of the UDCZ. Now, I talked about the UDCZ. That is known as the updraft, downdraft convergence zone. If you're asking about individual cities, there's nothing that's really threatening right now, including that tornado warning doesn't have a very strong circulation with it anymore. So the updraft, downdraft convergence zone is basically where you have the downdraft from the storm and the updraft on the left side of the storm. It's kind of different than supercells. There are 3 areas that are associated with tornado potential and with the QLCS. The cold pool dominant, which is the least likely area for tornadoes. Shear dominant, not as likely, but can happen. And the balanced area, most likely. Well, guess what? Balance was what was happening in Fort Smith.
And in Pegs.
Yeah.
And Vian.
Yeah.
And McKee. I mean, it just kept producing tornadoes because it remained balanced the whole way through.
So what do we mean by balanced? Well, we bring the UDCZ down to the ground, and that tells you where that updraft, downdraft convergence zone is located. Next, you want to look at the 0 to 3 kilometer bulk shear. Now, what we meant by that is this. This is a look at what the 0 to 3 kilometer bulk shear is. You have winds at the surface that are weaker than the winds along. So if you were to put a pinwheel in that, because the winds are stronger at the top of that 0 to 3 kilometer bulk shear, you've got a rotating shear rotor. This is known as the environmental vorticity. This is out on the leading edge of the storm, okay? So this is where the shear regime happens. Now, if it's less than 0 to 3 kilometers is less than 30 knots, then this rotation isn't going to be strong enough to sustain mesovortices. So the QLCS cold pool is where you have outflow coming out behind the cell. And if you'll notice, that also has a rotor that's associated with it. But notice how they're spinning in opposite directions. One is spinning clockwise, another one is spinning counterclockwise. So this is a severe thunderstorm warning that's been issued for that cell. So the tornado warning is no longer in effect in terms of continuing that.
Yes.
We'll get to Mega Doppler just to let you know
It'll pop
as this warning pops up. We'll go to a one panel here. So you're going to see severe thunderstorm warning for Franklin County. That's going to be loaded up here real shortly. And once it does, we'll let you know about it. So in case we'll take a little break from the graphic, because I know people are
wondering.
hyper focused on their area.
Yes.
I know, and I get it. Don't get me wrong.
There
I
it is
get
right there.
So there's the new
Wow.
severe thunderstorm warning, considerable, and this is on the south end of the line.
Probably has tornado possible too, I would imagine,
Yeah, I mean,
just to cover bases.
yep, tornado possible.
70-mile-per-hour winds.
So this is Cecil, Ozark. Now this does include Peter Pender this time.
Yep.
And there is a line break there, so we got to watch Mulberry a little bit.
Tornado warning's canceled.
All
I
right.
just saw that on.
Okay,
the
so the
chat.
warning is going to be dropped here very, very soon. So
Yes.
that's why we're not dealing with that, and that's why we're not on the air anymore.
Yep.
Little bit of circulations associated with this east of Huntsville. Nothing super major. Remember, it probably doesn't have the 0 to 3 kilometer bulk shear that's strong enough.
Yep.
And then on top of that, the low level instability is lacking because
Yep.
of all the rain out ahead of it. So there you go. There's a radar update. This is cold pool dominant. And what do we mean by cold pool dominant? Well, let's go back to our graphic here. So this is where the rotor of the cold pool is stronger than the shear rotor. What this does is this takes the updrafts and it puts them as rearward leaning. So cold pool dominant storms is where the cold pool rotor spins faster than the shear rotor. Updrafts tend to be weaker and rearward leaning, and tornado development not as likely. So that is where the cold pool is spreading out. And here we have rearward leaning storms because the outflow is out ahead of it. Notice how those are weaker. Yes, they have a severe thunderstorm warning, but that's a base severe thunderstorm warning for 60 miles per hour winds, and then that's it. Okay, back to our graphic. Let's take a look at the shear dominant area. So what do you think happens with the shear dominant area?
Well, it's what we're seeing in Northwest Arkansas right now. It's
Uh-huh.
when your rotor, your shear rotor is larger than the cold pool rotor.
That's right. And so what that does is that creates, as we bring that UDCZ down to the ground, you have your shear rotor that's faster than the cold pool rotor. So as the cold pool comes up, it's not allowed to get tilted up into the vertical. And so those cells are forward leaning.
And that's what you're kind of seeing. Up
And
here in
that's kind of
Northwest Arkansas.
happening right here in Northwest Arkansas.
Mhm.
And that's why that storm is not happening. Now, the last part of the line is the balanced area. And this is what we had across Northwest Arkansas and also the River Valley.
Yes, especially the river valley.
So this is the most likely area for tornadoes. Now, why is that? Well, because you have a cold pool and a shear rotor that are balanced.
Yep.
Meaning they're spinning the same speed. Think about it this way with football.
Oh,
You
yeah,
have
okay.
the two wheels spinning. You put a football in there.
The pitching machine.
The pitching machines, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's exactly what we got.
Yep.
I don't want to get them fired up on baseball because
I'm already fired up
the
enough.
cap's going to blow on that.
Yeah.
But this is what happens when you have a balanced cold pool and shear rotor. So the cold pool comes spreading out and it gets pulled up into the vertical because of the balance of the cold pool and the shear rotor. And then that is called constructive interference, where both of those rotors spin at the same speed.
Yep.
Then on top of that, you have, if you look at the surface to 3 kilometers, you have what's called 0 to 3 kilometer cape. So this is instability. The buoyancy in the atmosphere is great. So you have this streamwise vorticity that's descending down from the rear flank downdraft or the rear inflow jet. And guess what happens when that gets hit into those cold pool and shear rotors?
Gets pulled up vertically.
Gets pulled up into the vertical. Those updrafts are vertically deep and upright. And that's constructive interference maximized, most likely area for tornadoes. And so eventually over time, just like what we saw east of Van Buren,
Yep.
tornado touches down.
Bam.
And so there you go. The cold pool area, the shear dominant, and the balanced.
Yep.
So that is everything. And then we just got people asking about what about tomorrow?
Well,
We'll get to that.
it's pretty similar to what we saw today.
Not as much.
Not as much.
I
though.
think
Yes.
the flooding threat is going to be more serious.
there could be multiple waves of energy. I think there actually might be two distinct waves. One that comes through right around 2 to 5, and then unfortunately another one during Big Trail Mud Run time.
Looks like we okay. Well, Blaze Thomas doesn't
Hold on.
get here until who's you got? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that real quick.
All right. All right. Let's go back to Heil Heating Cooling Mega Doppler. And we're going to show you here the storm that is of most concern. And that's this by Mulberry. No real strong circulation or rotation. Working our way east of Huntsville, Marble, Red Star, a little bit of an area of rotation. But again, that 0 to 3 kilometer cape is not strong enough to allow for any of that to happen. And then this is all cold pool dominant. Still strong, still severe. But Alabama, all right. So power flickering. We'll take a look here at our WeatherBug network camera from Huntsville. So here's a look at Huntsville. Can't really see much, obviously, because the line has already come through. You can see at the bottom of the screen, too, who is going to be in the clear. Basically, a lot of people are in the clear. This entire event is going to be over. Oh, cool. I'll tell you what, why don't you send it through? Oh, yeah. Here's what we're going to do. Let's do this. If you have pictures of the storm, or if you have anything that that you want to share, we want all of our news team to see it. So Muncie, Indiana, I don't know. But anyways, I'm putting this right here. This is where you submit your photos. And I just posted that link. So you can click on that and you can bring up the latest link. What's going on, Savannah? We got Savannah, our producer that has been behind the scenes. She's the one that's been bringing up the iDrive Arkansas cameras. She's the one that's been telling us in our ear what's going on when Michael Craddock was on the line. So we appreciate you.
I appreciate you, Dan. I was just coming to give an update.
Okay, the update is that I think we're winding down with this severe event. The storm that's severe, that's considerable, is moving through the river valley. It's not tornado warned anymore. There are no tornado warnings in our area. I don't expect that anymore.
Okay.
Still have some strong winds, though, that are moving through eastern Madison County. And so that's why we're still on here.
I'm keeping an eye on power outages for you.
Okay, sounds good. I don't think there's another storm system coming through today. I think that's going to be the end of it. But we do have more development tomorrow, and we'll get to that here in just a bit. So thank you so much, Savannah. Here is a look at the only storm that is severe. All right. Here we go, looking at this. That's that severe thunderstorm warning. Picture submitted on there. Doppler radar showing another development. I don't know. It's just not going to have the engine. Tracy, we gave you a shout out during our coverage. I did not enjoy waking up to that madness, but you knew, you were educated because we talked about it yesterday. We told you on the live stream, and you knew what to have. Okay, I'm gonna bring up this link here real quick. Stand by, and we'll bring this up full. It might take me just a little bit of time because I don't have that currently in the system, but I'll be able to get that loaded here while we're doing that. So in the meantime, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring up Mega Doppler. We're going to put this into a radar loop and just give me a couple seconds. So this is what was happening earlier. A lot of tornado warnings. Notice how the warnings dropped off where it was balanced. You had more of a severe thunderstorm presence as well as tornado warnings. So Central Arkansas, you're done. This storm system isn't going to do anything. It's going to be basically over. Joseph, I'll give you a shout out. Shout out to Joseph Mueller. And Anthony Reed, too. Anthony Reed. How about that? I was watching from Spokane because my grandson is in Gravette, Arkansas. Well, I'll tell you what, Frankie, we've got that covered because we got our WeatherBug Network camera in Gravette, which, by the way, is down. It got zapped. But we do have the Gravette High School WeatherBug Network camera. Didn't know that wasn't working, unfortunately. So, okay, cool. Let's take a look at some photos here so we can share that information. It'll just take me a couple seconds here to pull this up behind the scenes with the system. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, there we go. Southwest of Siloam Springs. That's definitely a funnel. Shelf cloud moving in. Okay, so let me just add this to a new playlist here. Stand by. So I'm behind the scenes and I'm putting in a new, I'm making a new thing here. So just give me just a second. We're going to load up all of these. And we appreciate all that information. Got some great pictures. All right. And then we're going to go to present. So what I'm doing right now is I'm loading up, as you'll see here in just a second. Okay. All right. That's 11. Perfect. All right. Here's what we're going to do. And by the way, I hope you enjoyed that QLCS graphic because it really does kind of make sense. So here's some photos that we got from people. So this is Zach Davis. By the way, you can scan that QR code. There's a look at that storm that was coming in. And we can take a look at another cell here. So here's another one. Okay. Go here. F11. It doesn't advance. There's a look at the shelf cloud with the circulation that was approaching. So that's Zach Davis again. Another great picture of that. I can't advance it, so stand by. Here's another picture. Next. Here's another. This is pretty wild. Look at this. This looks like a funnel right there. Pretty awesome. And we got one more. It's supposed to advance, but it's not. Hate how that doesn't advance. Yeah, you don't have to worry. Springdale, you're fine. It's over. In fact, the rain is going to be over here shortly. So there's a look at that lowering, and there's the tornado.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was a cool
What
picture.
a photo.
If you got any photos, scan that QR code. How come this doesn't work where you're trying to advance? You're supposed to be able to advance it, but it doesn't do that.
Yeah, that is weird. It's supposed to advance it when you have a full screen. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
that's really weird.
There's one more here. Jeremy Medlock. So we got Razorbacks asking about game tomorrow.
Yeah, that's.
I still think it's good.
I think we're fine.
Yeah.
Actually, I was just doing a radio spot with Josh Bertaccini
Oh,
about
nice.
that. Yes.
All right.
Yep. So I promised him a radio spot for the weather forecast.
Look
and
at you.
yes, and I think Saturday and Sunday's looking good. Monday might be a little more interesting. I did
Well,
mention
hopefully
that.
we win it in 2.
Well, that's what I was saying. We're not
Yeah.
even going to get to that point. Hogs in 2.
Hogs in 2.
Let's go.
Hogs by 90.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hogs
exactly.
by 90.
Yeah,
All
Tony
right.
B's going to be upset. That's for sure.
These storms are done.
Yep.
They are done. And I'm basically saying everything's over. So look,
There's that tornado report.
here's the tornado report. Debris signature, tornado reported by the public just northeast of this signature.
Yep.
You know, I want to go back to that camera, that
Yeah.
Kisser camera, which, by the way, we can stop recording
On
all of
these.
those cameras.
I'm glad I just
Just record them all.
Yeah.
What's going
Good
on?
morning.
Good morning.
born.
I was wondering if you guys could send me a breakdown, kind of like something I could put on the website for now.
Yeah.
I know we had said that there was a confirmed.
Yeah, there's definitely confirmed tornado. There was one near Pegs, right?
Vian.
Vian,
Pegs is
Pegs.
right outside of our coverage area.
Yep.
Yes, but Vian is in our coverage area.
Pegs is right here. That was the same circulation though that went towards Salem Springs. We've got some. Don't forget, we've got some great megaphone photos too.
Okay, yeah, I sent out a thing. Yeah, I have a.
And we had another confirmed tornado near Van Buren.
Yep.
And then outside of, and then did it go all the way to
To Alma, no,
Yeah,
I
to
don't
Alma.
think so. But there was 70 miles per hour winds in Alma. So yeah, the debris signature that was located, it was just south of Shibley. This is where it touched down.
Okay, South Pacific.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, I'll probably write something up and email it to you, and you can
Okay,
check over. it,
that sounds
and-
good. Yeah, yeah. We're just doing another. We're just continuing this Facebook Live, by the way. So we're still on here.
Oh, yep.
That's Elena. She's behind the scenes right there.
The goat.
Yes, she does a lot of web stuff. You got to see this. Check this out. This is our camera from.
Oh yeah, no, I that's right. I grabbed
Yeah.
this the lightning pic that I put on our Facebook.
Oh,
actually.
look at this
I was
thing
watching that,
rotating.
yes.
Golly,
You're gonna see a
that's
brief
in
touchdown
real
here.
time.
And this is right before
got
it
lightning?
hit that south of Shibley, right? Or is this?
Yeah, right,
There it is, right there.
right there.
You
Yeah,
see that right there? Yeah. There's a brief touchdown.
and you can see, watch, and then there's the touchdown off in the
And then
distance
the
too.
camera went out.
Yeah.
Remember, it went out for a few seconds.
Yep,
and then it came back up.
And then it came back up.
that's a pretty strong
I'm gonna
rotation.
slow this down a little bit more so you can see this. Watch the left side of your screen here.
Could be some of that. Yeah, there's a vortice right there.
It's right there.
You can see it. Yeah,
That definitely touched down.
yeah, that was pretty impressive.
That
So
was-
yeah, you can write something up, and then we can do that.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, a lot of people asking about what's coming in 9 o'clock. Weather Channel has a storm system coming in 9 to 11. I don't believe that.
I don't believe that either.
It happens way after that. I think
Delete.
the storms are going to be in the morning hours. Yeah,
Yes. Delete that and download the Air
that
Weather
is
Authority app.
trash.
Yes.
Let me show you what we've got for timing, unless something's dramatically changed, which is a possibility.
It's always could happen.
Do you have pops in your show?
I do. Yeah.
The
just-
hourly pops?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, we'll bring this up right here. Let's do the 2-day timeline.
Yep.
Okay. So what people want to know about, let's show you our forecast as it loads up. So this is what you can expect. Not 10 p.m. tonight, but after midnight
Mhm.
into the morning hours. Not as impressive. All day yesterday, these storms had the ability to tap into this low-level instability.
Yes.
Crazy amount of low-level instability. But these storms coming in tomorrow won't have as much to work with.
Yes, absolutely.
Heavy rain, that is going to be a major concern because we have more training of the cells tomorrow.
Now,
Yes?
Now move it.
Do you have a
Cause-
question?
Because the camera kept.
Mr. Rugger?
Hey,
No, I'm just kidding.
by the way, you know what I was thinking of the other day?
What?
It's about to be 3 years since I started working here, which just time flies when you're having fun. But I just remember with this camera, one of the first live streams I did like a thumbs up towards the camera,
Yeah.
and it went zzz, like zoomed in, and he
Zipped
just looked
in
at me
on,
just
yeah.
like, you did that.
That's funny.
I was like, I'm just giving a thumbs up.
That's good. That's the thumbs up.
Yeah.
The Zach approved senator. Thumbs up.
Senator.
Okay, so that's the timing of the cells. Notice Saturday afternoon. Not out of the question that we see an isolated shower or storm, but that really does not look like.
I don't think so.
So here is the River Valley timing, which will be very similar, but I probably will hold on to the rain a little bit longer, and then we got to adjust that because that's the model kind of messing around with that. But I think it sticks around a little bit longer.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the newest risk, by the way, which will be basically pointless, honestly. It's just going to be one giant slight risk that will just cover the entire area, and it doesn't make any. Yeah. So here you go. Just a giant slight risk across the entire area. You look at the individual threats, guess what? That's going to be painted with a 2% across the entire region. The wind threat, the hail threat,
which was nothing basically.
yeah,
right?
we knew it would.
Yeah.
We knew it would be.
Yeah.
So let's look at future radar, which, by the way, is not perfect, as you know.
I
But
do have the one with the instability on there if you want to use that.
and we'll see what this looks like
Yeah.
first. Okay, so this is what the model had. And by the way, I gotta say this: the timing, we were spot on.
Well, yeah,
7 to
absolutely.
8 p.m. That's exact. 7 to 8 a.m. is
Yeah.
exactly what we had.
We had the sweet spot around that time.
Yep.
We said that. Yeah.
7 to 8 a.m. If you don't believe me, you can look at the live stream that we did last night.
Yes.
The graph had it coming in at 6 a.m. I'm like, nope, too fast. Don't buy it. Don't believe it.
Trash.
I also mentioned that I was concerned about tornadoes.
You
last
did?
night. I was very much concerned.
This is kind of like that
And-
March event.
And a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's only a 2%." No. Oh, Becky has damage
Yeah.
pictures and video on Facebook.
That was on yours.
Here's a problem with Facebook. I can't download them. Can't make them full screen. I probably can't even see
You can't
them,
download 'em?
honestly. No, you can't.
I thought on your phone on Messenger you could like click on that thing. And
Oh,
then
maybe you
pull
can.
it down.
I don't know.
Phone you can usually like work
Yeah.
around it.
There just has to be a better solution.
Yeah. I'm done with Facebook.
Yeah.
Algorithm's trash.
There's a look at the line. All right. So what happens during the day? Maybe an isolated storm pops up. That doesn't look super impressive.
Yeah.
Here's the weather channels 10 to whatever, 8 to 10. That's not happening.
Wow.
Wrong. But that's when we see additional storms popping up.
Those are pretty strong.
And that's going to produce some heavy rain.
Yes.
This is not looking favorable for the mud run to start right at 8 a.m. But I do believe in my gut that a lot of the storms will be out of here a little after 8 a.m.
You know,
What do you think?
I agree.
You don't buy it?
I do agree.
Yeah?
No, what I was going to say is that the Pig Trail Mud Run might be the Pig Trail Creek Run. You might be just like wading in like water.
I think we'll be swimming.
It's swimming. The
They'll
Pig
call
Trail
it Pig
swim.
Trail mud swim.
The mud swim.
I mean,
dude.
honestly.
Dude, you're gonna have plenty of mud. This is a
Oh.
record-breaking year.
Yeah. So there's the storms. Now look, watch what happens 4 p.m.
Little
There's still a
scattered shower.
chance of an isolated shower, but I think the most of it will be missing.
Honestly, though, 76 degrees at 4 p.m. For the Razorback baseball game. Let's go.
Yeah, that looks nice.
I mean, it's going to feel great for a big Arkansas win.
So this is what we've got. We got storms in the morning. Now, we will look at the instability. Let's look at that.
Yeah.
So today, a lot more fuel for those storms to tap into. And then you can see that kind of building in. But then look, it's not quite as much.
It gets
Still-
sapped a little
We'll
bit.
still have to watch these cells.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see if there's any rotation tracks with this. I don't think this system is as strong, but let's see. Oh. Doing some music out there.
They're recording. Good day.
Clapping.
Yeah. Get into it.
All right, max up.
It's like I'm at the
track, here we go.
shareholders meeting.
Yeah, which, by the way, who is the, anybody know
Yeah.
who the MC is? Who the famous MC is? Who the celebrity is?
Dan the Rock Scoff.
Yeah. If you smell with a scoff. It's cooking. All right. So here's a look. My daughter can do the eyebrow raise really well. One eyebrow.
Oh,
she
man.
does it so
That's the
good.
best gift ever.
That's in his early years of doing all the wrestling.
This is me looking at the Weather Channel's probabilities.
Yeah, I know exactly. Exactly. Trash.
Trash.
Just like their 16-day forecast.
Oh my goodness. Give me a
Trash.
break. Give
Trash.
me a break. That's so bad.
All right, here's the rotation tracks. Wonder why you don't see anything between 8 to 10.
That's interesting.
Because there are no storms. Yeah, we're gonna have to be ready.
It makes sense that the tracks would be there too, because you saw the
Yeah.
reflectivity, how the line, that's where the balanced part of the line would be.
Yep.
So,
And by the way, there's only one severe thunderstorm warning left. It's not even.
it's nothing.
Even though there's a line break, it's broken, not a line break. It's just broke.
It just broke.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's the cells coming in. That's just dud.
Trash.
And we can look at our Harrison.
Making still not up.
No, it is. It's just everything's dying whenever these storms come.
When the
through.
when we actually see weather.
Yeah. When the weather's bad, that's when the cameras go down.
Out of nowhere.
Gosh, Kisser had that, man.
And it went away for like 30 seconds.
I know, right at the time the tornado is.
I think we still got like one of those like brief touchdowns there.
Yep. Boy, those clouds racing in. Oh man, that was
just like
crazy.
Greenland, man. It's Greenland part 2.
Yeah.
What's up, Jackie?
Yep, we're good.
We're good.
I think we're running down here. It's about
Yes.
over. So there's a look at the rotation tracks, and then after that comes through, that's it. So timing tomorrow morning, 3 a.m. to about 10 a.m. at the very latest. I think it's more like 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. Honestly.
Pretty much the exact same time as today.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like to a T.
This
Maybe a little
time, I think
earlier.
it's going to be more training cells, and the flooding threat's going to be more substantial.
I'd agree.
Now, well, let's look at the graph, 3 kilometer, which, by the way, was too fast with the cells.
Yeah, it was. Whoa. It was so bad.
So this is what it has right now. And then it moves east, and nothing happens the rest of the day. So the rest of the day is looking great.
Golfing time.
Oh, yeah?
I think I'm going to go back out to Brittany.
Well, since I was here early, I'm probably going to take off early.
You want to go to Brittany? Want to go golf 9 real quick? It's $5.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's just do it right now.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys
stream.
later. Bye-bye.
See ya. Live stream.
All right, here's the longer range. So let's see what it shows tomorrow morning. So obviously everything's quiet here.
Man, it's developing stuff early. Makes sense. There's a lot of energy.
But see, that's more MCS type. Okay.
If that happened, the severe potential would be low.
There's a medical pole completely bent over and possibly some damage reports to the hospital in Van Buren. I can believe that.
Yeah. It was right over Van Buren.
So that's too early. I think that's too early.
Yeah, that's not.
I don't buy that.
That's typical graph. But look, there's multiple waves. Now I do buy that. I think there's going to be like 2 waves of energy. Look at 4 p.m.
Let's go.
Woo pig, baby.
Beautiful. Becky, let's see if I can bring up that camera. All right.
Denton.
Nice. So let's do this. Let's see if I can bring up Facebook Messenger. Let me get my degree out because that's what it takes. It takes like a PhD in order to understand how to use this.
That's a fact. Gets worse and worse every few months. They just add new updates.
Yep. All right. I got to go to mine.
Yes.
So I can go to. Let's see. Is this mine or is it yours? Nope.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. So how do we do this?
Click on that messenger. Oh.
Damaged emergency operations center in Van Buren. Yeah. So
Whoa.
Van Buren does have some damage. I saw that from Zachary Hall.
That's a pretty substantial damage there. It's that little messenger button.
Yeah, but then it goes to business messenger. Why can't it just all be together?
I don't know.
And see, can't click on it.
Yeah, I think the only way you can get around that is with the app, like on the phone. It looks like some tree damage there.
So Becky sent a screenshot. I could show that. I could show that here.
Be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope.
Nope. Wait, hold on. Right click. Won't even. Oh wait. Open image in new tab. Ah, there we go.
There we go. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Share screen. So this is the view right here. No damage here other than some limbs. Chip Marin has a bent pole. Looks like a pretty weak pole.
Yeah.
But damage down by Baptist Health and down by Old Allen Canning Company. And then Kibler, wild wind for a minute, limbs down. But that kind of shows you where that rotation was.
Yeah.
That circulation. And Charles Peak, too.
Yes, a
Charles
legend.
Peak's good.
He's a legend. He was actually up here. Like we saw him on the Storm Spotter
Yeah.
stuff.
All right. Well, we're going to let that warning expire, and then we're going to drop off of this severe thunderstorm coverage.
Yes, sir.
And good job, Josh.
Good job to you as well. Thanks for coming in and helping.
Oh, I knew.
We were ready. We knew.
Oh, we knew.
Yep.
I
we were
knew.
ready.
I was like, I need to go. Need to get in there.
Yes, sir. Prepared, ready to rock and roll.
This guy's all over it, man. Absolutely. He's all over it. There's the timing. Everything's dropping off. The rain's gone. Everything's over. Tomorrow morning, rinse and repeat. So we'll be here. I don't know. Are you coming in tomorrow?
I'll be watching.
You'll be watching it?
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
I'll
We'll keep
come
you
in if there's
updated.
something crazy going on.
Yeah.
But I just agree with you. I don't think it's as favorable tomorrow.
Nope.
Like today was like the day, you know. And then we're gonna have more chances for showers and storms Saturday night into Sunday, Sunday night into Monday, maybe Monday afternoon too. But it won't matter because Arkansas will win in 2. And then we finally quiet
Who's
down
pitching?
Tuesday.
Who's pitching Saturday?
Zach Root.
Oh, let's go. Oh,
Look, see, this is what you're talking about.
you're applauding
Yeah,
the musician that's back there.
My
He's
cap-
like, oh, I already got a.
the cap is broken.
Yeah.
Explosive clapping.
Well, you can send pictures of your dog. We'd love to see
I'm
that.
down.
You used to do the fur cast.
I know. We need to bring that back.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to sponsor that,
Eric
let us know.
Thomas. You can just go to that link and
Yes.
you can share those photos. So submityourweatherphotos.com. I'll post that link one more time.
Bang.
And this will give you the best way so you could submit your photos so we could show them on our newscast. But yeah, that was an intense line, man. We
Absolutely.
knew it. Knew QLCS tornado potential would be maximized.
Cannot let your guard down whatsoever.
Yeah, that one. That does
That's
not
done.
need to be
Let's-
around.
Cancel it. Leave it.
And speaking of that, we're going to cancel this live stream because that's over before we get canceled.
Yep. Yeah. Sure. It's 2025.
We'll see you guys later here. Take care. Have a good one. And God bless. And have a great Friday. See you later.
Woo pig.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.